Good morning, everyone. I'm Laura Jarrett alongside Joe Fryer here in New York. We have breaking news out of Israel this morning where Hamas has launched a surprise attack within Israel's borders overnight. First, launching rockets from the Gaza Strip, then sending militants into the streets of the southern part of Israel. Hundreds of people have been injured. Several have been killed, but that number could be much higher. You are looking at live pictures there. Let's go right to NBC's Raf Sanchez, who is in the south of Israel. Raf, good morning. What is the latest where you are?
Joe, Laura, good morning. Israelis woke up today to find their worst nightmares had come true in the form of a massive surprise attack by Palestinian militants from Gaza. As we speak, Palestinian gunmen are inside Israeli cities and towns, something we have never before seen on this scale. And they are fighting running gun battles against Israeli ground forces. Hamas, the major Palestinian militant group that controls Gaza, says they have taken Israelis hostage and they have taken them back inside of Gaza. Now, the Israeli military says this infiltration came by land, by sea, and by air in the form of Hamas gunmen on paragliders infiltrating into Israeli territory. And this was done under the cover of a barrage of more than 2,000 rockets fired in the early hours of this Shabbat morning. Guys, I wanted just to explain to you what the scene is where we are right now. We are on one of the major highways in southern Israel. You would expect this road to be full on a holiday weekend, and instead you can see behind me, this is an Israeli military checkpoint. Israeli forces here are searching all cars that are going past because they do not know at this point where these Palestinian gunmen are, and they are afraid these gunmen may try to be getting north towards Tel Aviv, towards Jerusalem. As we've been here, we have seen just a stream of Israeli special forces driving south towards the Gaza border, and they are heading to confront those gunmen in the towns and cities in the south. Guys.
Rob, just an incredible scene playing out.
What's poppin'? What's poppin', my friends, my family? Welcome to a surprise edition of RBN Saturday Live. I had to jump on live to cover this. CJ will be joined a little bit later. I know CJ got a lot to say as well. We both didn't plan to go live today, but shit is popping off, fam. Shit is popping off. Critical solidarity to the Palestinian people right now. Critical solidarity, my friends. And the media coverage that we are seeing right now is exactly why I say the United States is the most propagandized country in the world. And it's not even close. Not even close. You have people that are both sizing this issue as if this is not a very simple to understand conflict. This is an issue of settler colonialism. You have a violent genocidal state that was manufacturally created by the West and being armed and supported by the West, who ethnically cleansed and committed a genocide on the Palestinian people in order to uphold their fraudulent society. Call them an apartheid state is being nice to what Israel is, because that legitimizes Israel as a state. Israel is an illegitimate state. Israel is not real. Israel is filled with Europeans and Americans. When was the last time Israel had a Middle Eastern prime minister? Don't worry, I'll wait. Every single prime minister in Israel has been European, of European descent. They moved in and they used violence to force the Israeli people out. How the fuck can anyone have the position that Hamas or Palestine is acting in some sort of evil, in some sort of malice? These are facts, ladies and gentlemen, that I am about to tell you guys. According to the UN Charter, Palestine has the legal right to have an armed resistance against Israel. That's in the UN Charter. Israel has been out of compliance with international law for decades. Everything the Palestinian people are doing is legal under international law. What the Israeli government has been doing for years, and they got away with it because they have the bully of the United States backing them, is illegal. You guys understand? There's one side that is doing the legal, what I would consider the morally right action. It's nothing but morally right to fight against your colonizers and your oppressors, people who killed you and your family. Now, I won't condemn anyone who don't want to engage in violence, but it's nothing more morally righteous than protecting you, your family, and your bloodline, your culture, from violent, genocidal colonialists. And people say, oh my God, what about this? What about the civilians in Israel? There are no Israeli citizens. All these people are European settler colonialists. You gave up your right to be a civilian when you decided to benefit from militaristic settler colonialism. Are we clear? You gave that up. You are willing to live in a society that is built on genocide, blood, and oppression. You're not a civilian at that point. Now, I will be clear because I'm sad to see everything that happened. I'm not happy to see people die. But everyone that is part of the Israeli settler colonial state are occupiers and complicit with the violence that the Palestinian people have been going through. Now, if you guys think I am extreme, you think I didn't come up with receipts today? These are the people that are the quote-unquote civilians I'm supposed to be crying about.
I think Israelis have to take over, and they have to kick them away. It will be much better not to kill them, just to go back to Arab countries.
But it's really rightfully ours if you look at the history and at like the wars, and we didn't even start a lot of the wars, and we conquered these places rightfully, like it's ours.
1,400 years later, we come back. Now, I'm not saying that we can.
That lady said we conquered these places, so it's ours. But I'm supposed to be sad for her and her family.
Blame the people living here for what happened, but you gotta accept that that's some kind of divine justice, that their great-great-great-great-grandfathers kicked my great-great-great-grandfather out of here, and then we come back, and all of a sudden they're like, well, no, we don't want it, it's not fair.
I think that the Jews came here, they took this land, and this is our land now, and I don't think there should be here no Arabs. Like Arabs, they want, we gave them Gaza, they should go live there quietly if they want, they should go back to Iraq, I don't know, to wherever they want.
You guys feel bad for
think that we need to
She asked her friend, how do you say kick out the Arabs? I know I say that word wrong all the time, I apologize. How do you say kick out the Arabs?
I don't think there's any answer to it.
Really?
There's only one way, like I would carpet bomb them.
This Israeli citizen said the only solution to the Israeli-Palestine conflict is to carpet bomb them. So how does Israel get a extreme far-right government that commit genocide? Because they have a far-right insane populace that want to commit genocide against the Palestinian people. Now the Palestinian people finally punched these people in the mouth, and now they're crying about it. You gotta know RB ain't no goddamn pacifist. We fight our oppressors. We fight people like these people. And I will always have nothing but critical solidarity with the Palestinian people, the same people that had our back during the civil rights movement, the same people that put a mural of George Floyd in Gaza, the same people that show solidarity with the South African apartheid. We've been through the same struggle. People like this, these European scumbags, have been our historical enemy. And what the fuck does it make sense for me or anyone who's of a disenfranchised class, race, or peoples to advocate this bullshit pacifism against these scumbags. I want you guys to hear what this guy said again.
I don't think there's any answer to it. Really? There's only one way. Like, I would carpet bomb them.
You would carpet bomb them?
It's the only way you could deal with it. Like, or try to stop them a different way.
Bernie Sanders is going to tell you that they're both sides of this issue, though. Both sides are bad. The entire PMC left right now, all these progressives that said Palestine, all these people that make me sick are exposing themselves today because they're telling you that this person is equal to a Palestinian resistance fighter, someone who simply went their fucking home. Unbelievable.
It never worked.
I think that we're miserable. The Arabs make a piguim and we need to kill Arabs.
Beyond parody. I want you guys to understand that Zionism is one of the most extreme ideologies in the world. Zionism does not conflate with Jewish heritage because there are a bunch of Zionists in my mentions coping because I'm calling these motherfuckers out on Twitter where they say, oh my God, look at Nick being an anti-Semite, calling out Jewish people. I am not calling out Jewish people. Jewish people are amazing people, including the many Jewish people that stand against Zionism. This is not a religious issue. Zionism, these people are disgusting and they deserve to be Palestine. Let me put it like this. Palestinians deserve to be liberated by these people by any means necessary. You guys want to hear this part again? Well, read it because you don't speak English that well.
Make a piguim and we need to kill Arabs.
We need to kill the Arabs.
No.
I think another thing that the Jews should have rights to hate them. I think we have the right to hate them. I don't see a reason why not. I wouldn't trust any of them.
אין מצב שיהיה פה שלום בארץ, אי אפשר לעשות איתם שלום, הם תמיד שונאים אותנו. אם אי אפשר לעשות שלום והמצב ככה לא יכול להישאר, אז צריך לטפל בהם בדרכים אחרות, אין מה לעשות.
I think we should give them a country. If you're doing any problem, you just go in there to give them a country, and then it's going to be a war between countries, you know? If they're going to throw rockets, we're going to throw one big one and done.
You think that's it? Now, I want to show you guys this because no one else in Western media is going to cover this. None of the progressive media is going to cover this, apparently. These are the enemy, fam. The same way the Nazis are the enemy. Zionists are the enemy. Wait till I show you guys Zelensky's quote. The people who are in bed with Nazis, like Ursula von der Leyen and Zelensky, they all crying for Israel as they call for Russian blood. Look at this. You want to see some more extremism from Israel? Which is commonplace. This is extremely commonplace, fam. They're chanting that, fam. I'm not even going to say it. I'm just going to get my turn to me. This guy is saying the second Nakba is coming. I just had Nkosi Mandela on, and we were talking about the 75th anniversary of the Nakba, the tragedy of the displacement of countless Palestinian people, many murdered. It was a tragic event that Palestinians will never forget. This very sane individual is shouting that they are going to do another Nakba. Just letting you guys know who the Western media, who Bernie Sanders and many other people are both siding this issue with. Listen to this. If you in the West who live in a country that financed this apartheid genocidal state and these genocidal people believe that you have the right to tell Palestinians how to resist these sicko psychopaths, you are complicit. You continue to be complicit. The entire Democratic Party continue to be complicit with these Zionists, like Marco says here, sound exactly like the KKK. Go to any Israeli political rally, and essentially a KKK rally. And you guys understand what I say and how I feel about the Zionist people? Not the Jewish people, the Zionist scumbags who falsely misrepresent what Judaism is supposed to be about. And this is coming from, I don't know that shit, I'm not religious, but this comes from the many Jews worldwide, including many in the Middle East, that is openly against the apartheid state of Israel because their faith tells them better than that. So if you are an American, if you are a European, and you think you can tone police, tell Palestinians how they can resist these psychopaths, that's a red line to stand for me. Critical support for the Palestinian people, my friends. I actually want to get to some chats because I know you guys probably leaving a lot of good comments today. I didn't plan on going live today, but this shit is crazy, fam. And I am not happy to see what's going on, man. It's very sad. Like, there's going to be a lot of death and destruction because of this. But my anger is directed at the United States government and the Israeli regime for allowing a situation like this to occur. Because in no scenario, in no reality, is the Palestinian people wrong for pursuing their liberation. If you believe that is the case, you have been there fucking yelling at the slaves before abolition. You be yelling at the Native Americans as they resist their genocide. We have history. We know what the historically correct position is. So are we going to allow history to repeat itself? Because a lot of people seem more than happy to. We didn't get to Bernie soon. I kind of spoiled it, but I love that my friend, big shout out to Joy Micah, she posted this picture I wanted to share. I'm going to get to Bernie soon. Because you're going to see all these progressive, managerial class scumbags repeat and double down on Israeli Zionist Democratic Party talking point that somehow the Palestinian people are in the wrong here for fighting for people who did this. The term that everyone is using now is unprovoked. So I might have to tell CJ I'm going to be on a little bit longer than I planned. Because there's a lot of fucking breakdown. I'll text CJ. Unprovoked. Everyone's saying that this is an unprovoked attack. The Biden administration has a statement where they was condemning the unprovoked attack by Palestine. That doesn't look like it's unprovoked, my friends. The land grab, this is what people call ethnic cleansing. Yep, Abel Gonzalez, I'm reading the chat today. They like to pretend that map doesn't exist. And then they tell you guys it's unprovoked. We told you guys first at RBN, unprovoked is the new focus test proven and approved talking point that come from propagandists. And they use it to take advantage of the fact that many people are not educated about the realities of U.S. imperialism. And how can they be? How can people be knowledgeable about the history of every conflict in every country? It's kind of impossible unless you're a nerd. I'm a nerd and I am not an expert at every fucking conflict, right? So they weaponize that and try to trick people into thinking that their geopolitical enemies are somehow acting unhinged. This is not an unprovoked attack. This is long time coming from Zionists being unhinged psychopaths that have been wanting to wipe out the Palestinian people, as shown here. What is Israel, my friends? I am asking you that question. Israel is not real. Y'all motherfuckers been making shit up. And I will repeat, every single prime minister of Israel has been what? Of European descent, not Middle East. Benjamin Netanyahu is a European, my friends. Israel is a country made of Europeans, Americans, people of mostly Western European descent that is cosplaying being Middle Eastern because some wacky book told them to. I need to actually kind of move on. Let's I did the Extremist rally. CJ should be joining soon. Like, there's, bro, wait till you guys see the fucking tweets from Bernie Sanders, progressives, and even Dr. Cornell West with an insanely disappointing tweet. I'm trying to wait to see that get here. I may cover it a little bit. And if you guys don't believe in what I'm saying, these people will say, well, I moved to Israel because I have a strong connection to Israel. I got a strong connection to Israel because of whatever religious reasons, right? But shit hits the fan. And you guys see this? Benjamin Netanyahu put out a press conference that warned all his people that we are at war. We need to defend. Oh, yeah, I see people, yeah. Dr. Cornel West with the unexpected both-sided tweet that is getting brutally racial right now. Very, very disappointing. I'm gonna cover that here very soon. And you guys already know what CJ got to say about that. Unbelievably disappointing by Dr. West. But the message from these Zionists are, Israel is our homeland. We have a strong connection to Israel. Meanwhile, the second that shit get real, and Benjamin Netanyahu said we're at war, look at all these Zionist cockroaches fleeing. Hey, if Israel's your home, where are you going, ma'am? They go into their second home in New York, somewhere in California. Some of them going back to England and France because a lot of these colonialists have generational wealth. Where are you going? I thought this was your homeland. How is this your homeland? How is this your homeland? But you motherfuckers don't want to fight for it. You guys see how this is you guys see how this cosplay for them? There's a lot of good reactions. And the media coverage is exactly why I say the United States is the most propagandized country in the world. I've just been watching the appallingly one-sided BBC News coverage of the situation in Palestine. So here's a few notes to the corporate media. Israel is in breach of international law, as I mentioned earlier. Palestinians are fighting to liberate their homeland from 75 years of Israeli oppression and terrorism. None of these things will ever be mentioned in the corporate media, especially this next point. The Israeli military and settlers are the militants, not the Palestinian freedom fighters. Imagine someone burst into your home, violently assaulted your people, your family, and then you defend yourself, and then people call you a terrorist. That's the reality of what it means to be a Palestinian. And many indigenous people that the West has victimized. So you look at the first 3 points. These are things that would never be discussed. Look at number 4. This is what I mentioned earlier. Armed struggle is legitimate under international law. Repeat after me, ladies and gentlemen. If you're facing an armed, violent occupier, armed struggle is legitimate under international law. Israel is out of compliance with international law. Meanwhile, every single Western leader, every single progressive, including Bernie Sanders, is making statements condemning the Palestinian people for doing something that is internationally legal. Unbelievable. The reality that we live in, fam. Unbelievable. Do you guys see the fucking gaslighting that we have to go through as disenfranchised people, as black people, Palestinians, because we fight our oppressors. We fight the white supremacists, the police state. You know, the same police state that trains with the Israeli soldiers? They exchange techniques. The same techniques that they use in Palestine, where they call anyone who protests the state a domestic terrorist. That's the same thing they're doing to black activists who are protesting Cop City right now. That's why we must resist the Israeli regime. They exchange techniques. What they're doing to Cop City, fam, is exactly the same thing they're doing to Palestinians. Let me continue this, man. I got a lot. This is so frustrating, guys. I literally told myself before the stream not to get emotional and then get yelly because I know some of you guys hate that, but this shit is very hard to cover without me getting emotional, fam. Like, for real. Number 5, Israel has been abducting Palestinians for many years, especially when you read the... I may just show you guys just the Israel tab. When you read the disgusting shit that's coming from Democrats and Republicans right now. And people wonder why we strongly disavow the two-party duopoly. Even Bernie Sanders sound like a piece of shit. All of them sound like a piece of shit right now. We need to have a revolution against these psychopaths in our government. Number 5, Israel has been abducting Palestinians for many years. Over 1,000 Palestinians are currently being held in administrative detention in Israeli dungeons. Let me say it for the people both sides in this again. Over 1,000 Palestinians are currently being held in administrative detention in Israeli dungeons. What's the next receipt? This is crazy. CJ gonna be joining us, so I can't wait to see CJ's take on this. CJ about to come with some fire too, man, because wait till I show you guys these tweets from progressives, man. I gotta kind of get through this, so I'll show you guys this. This is a great tweet from Remy. There are a lot of great people speaking truth to power right now. Not Dr. Cornel West, unfortunately. Not none of the progressives, but the people who actually care about human rights. There is no both sides argument. Only Palestinians live under military occupation. Only Palestinians have homes stolen for illegal Israeli settlements. Only Palestinians are being depossessed. Only Palestinians face apartheid laws. All of this was done by one side, Israel. This is a good friend of the show, Fiorella Isabel. The Palestinian resistance, with little to no support from the international community, has publicly humiliated the illegal occupation of Israel, a Goliath with U.S. funding and mass weapons. In a bleak world, it's about damn time we see good prevail. Free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine. And that's such a fantastic point because this is a giant embarrassment for the Israeli military and intelligence. And despite the horrific violence that Israel has committed against the Palestinian people, despite the insane ethnic cleansing, war crimes, execution of journalists like Shireen Abdul Akleh, the Palestinian people never give up. They never give up. This is their homeland. Their spirits don't falter. Despite that, they still fight back and they still embarrass this army that's propped up. Meanwhile, Israelis are fleeing. You know why? Because Zionists and Israelis, they don't want this shit as bad as Palestinians because they are occupiers. Palestinians with very little international support still fighting along for the right for their land. So it is a good thing. We are absolutely not pacifists here when it comes to resisting our occupiers. I'm gonna show you guys an example of what they will never tell you in corporate media. This is from Didra. The Israeli city. Well, let me read this one first, because this example of Israeli propaganda weaponizing shit that people don't know, including stuff like me. I don't know every single detail, so I'm glad I found this tweet. So this is what one person said: a summary of what's going on in Gaza at the moment. This morning, fighters from Gaza carried out an operation that took Israel by surprise, reaching Sderot and taking Israeli hostages amidst a barrage of rocket fire. So we're supposed to feel bad because Palestinians took Israeli hostages and fighting for Sderot, right? But what they won't tell you is that the Israeli city of Sderot was originally named the Palestinian village of Najd, whose Arab inhabitants sheltered Jewish Haganah militants from the British in 1946. The thanks they got was getting ethnically cleansed and expelled to Gaza by the IDF in 1948. So you're going to have all these people that are mourning the loss of Israeli land and cities, the same cities that the Palestinian people lost due to violent ethnic cleansing. And how many of these people that are telling you these stories on CNN, MSNBC, Washington Post, and New York Times are going to tell you the full fucking story? What was the name of the city before Israeli captured it, for example? So this is the Palestinian people doing a good deed for these people, and they got ethnically cleansed by Gaza as a result. So I think we got this one. I think we're gonna get to some world leaders' reaction. I'm gonna show you guys the unhinged reaction from the West. I know exactly who my enemies are. All the same bad actors are at it again, right? So for one, this is Benjamin Netanyahu, and this is why Israelis were fleeing. There's a ton of Israelis caught fleeing the country, a ton of panic because they don't really want this. They've been so comfortable with being backed by unlimited United States funds that now that Hamas has brought the fight to them, as they should, these people are panicking and running. But now Benjamin Netanyahu, a war criminal of the war criminals, right? He is the Michael Jordan of Middle Eastern war crimes. Super extreme. So, of course, he is taking this situation to essentially call for genocide, where he says there's going to be an unprecedented response on the Palestinian people. And when they say, and this is proven through every time Israel says this, when Israel says there's going to be unprecedented response on the Palestinian people, what he's saying is that he's about to kill a shit ton of women and children. That's what he's saying. And the Western leaders are going to say something like this. They're going to say that Israel has the right to defend themselves. So every single Western leader, including Maxwell Frost, who recently said this, every single person who says this, they're essentially giving the A-OK to the violent Israeli state to kill women, children, and as many Palestinian people as they want in response to this. So let me read a tweet. Since this morning, the state of Israel has been at war. Our first objective is to clear out the hostile forces that infiltrated our territory and restore the security and the quiet to the communities that have been attacked. The second objective, at the same time, is to exact at an immense price from the enemy within Gaza Strip as well. And fam, no spoiler alert, I'm going to tell you exactly what that's going to be. Israel about to kill a bunch of women and children. That's what's about to happen. So Benjamin Netanyahu is openly saying, we are about to commit some war. And you guys think we've been doing war crimes before. Nigga, we about to commit some war fucking crimes. the likes you guys would never see before. And every single Western leader is going to back that up and justify that. Let me continue with Netanyahu's statement, though. The third objective is to reinforce other fronts so nobody should mistakenly join this war. We are at war. In war, one needs to be level-headed. I call on all citizens of Israel to unite in order to achieve our highest goal, victory in the war. And you're going to hear a lot of Western media outlets and other progressive except Palestine people say this as well. Israel is at war. Now? Now you're at war. Y'all been committing war crimes. Palestine didn't start a war. There's been a one-sided assault on the Palestinian people. Palestine punched the bully one time, and now all of a sudden they're talking about war. This is the bully slamming the smaller child in the locker. He's slamming his head against the locker. He's stomping on his toes, flicking his nose, stealing his lunch money. And then the second the kid hit back, the principal jumps in. Oh my God, why are you guys fighting? Both of you guys suspended. So this gives Netanyahu the green light to commit genocide. But I want you guys to understand the genocide that Benjamin Netanyahu is about to plan out really quickly now is something that Israel has already been committing. They've been doing a slow rolling ethnic cleansing genocide. So the Palestinian people who had enough of that, they had enough of being slowly tortured, slowly stabbed to death, skinned alive. So now the Palestinian people say, instead of being slowly genocided, bring it on. Fucking do this. Let's end this once and for all. Now, once again, this is the fault of the West in Israel for pushing these people so damn far. How long are these people supposed to take their torture? Now, guess who else has something to say about this? Here is Volodymyr Zelensky, a man who also said that he wants to have a Israeli-like model in Ukraine. The Israeli-like model in Ukraine where you can put ethnic Russians and make them live in a genocidal apartheid state while the Azov neo-Nazi battalions slowly ethnically cleanse and get rid of the ethnic Russian people. That is what Zelensky publicly said. Well, I explained what he meant, but he quite literally said he want to follow the Israeli model. So here's Zelensky for the people who can't read this right now. Horrible news from Israel. My condolences go out to everyone who lost relatives or close ones in the terrorist attack. We have faith that order will be restored and terrorists will be defeated. Terrorists should have no place in the world. The person that is literally emboldened the Azov battalion and Banderites in Ukraine that terrorized ethnic Russians that resulted in at least 14,000 ethnic Russians and Eastern Ukrainians being killed by the Ukrainian government before the Russian invasion. Unbelievable. But let me finish the statement. Terror should have no place in the world because it's always a crime, not just against a specific country or this terrorist victim, but against humanity in general. So Palestinians resisting the Zionist regime is a crime against humanity. You guys see, I know who my enemies are. These people are unhinged. He also says anyone who resorts to terror commits a crime against the world. Whoever finances terror, is committing a crime against the world. Fam, the United States is the number one financer of terrorism around the world. The number one financer of death and destruction is the United States. It's funding the violent Banderites in Ukraine. Jesus Christ, this statement is so hard to get through. Fam, progressives think he's a good guy. Unbelievable. Like when you write these tweets, he knows he's fucking with us. He knows what he's just projecting. I think the ruling class, I think they have a smile on their face. I think they have a great time trolling us with this bullshit. Oh, man. This shit is fucking crazy, man. Dude, this is probably something I'm covering almost every fucking day, fam. Like, you gotta know I'm on the foreign policy wing of RBN. This shit is about to be huge, man. I don't know. Chat, let me know what you guys think about to happen. Like, my mind is racing. Like, this is such a huge event that just happened. You have Saudi Arabia, you have Iran, you have Qatar that expressed support for Palestine against their attack on Israel. What is that going to do to Saudi Arabia and the United States of relationships? Guys, there's so much fucking shit that's going to happen because of this. I gotta fucking I need to take a day to wrap my mind around this. This is a reaction stream. I'm just now remembering that, like, Iran, Saudi Arabia, they are on the side of Palestine. Fucking Qatar came out. I'm sure many other Middle Eastern countries are coming out in favor of Palestine because they all hated Israel. You've seen this at the World Cup. What is it going to do to the U.S. and Saudi Arabia? You have Russia that is fully in support of a peace negotiated deal and for Palestine to have their own independent country. Fam, this is going to be crazy. And if you want to have ongoing coverage of this, make sure you subscribe to RBN because this is just my first stream on this. So I just can't. Like, there's so much to cover on this. I still haven't got to the world leader statements. I haven't seen the rest of the world leader statement. I'm going to read Zelensky, von der Leyen, Ursula Leyen, and Biden. Let me continue this. All the details surrounding this terrorist assault must be revealed so that the world knows and hold accountable everyone who supported and helped carry out the attack. All Ukrainian citizens who remain in the rich zone. So, I'll finish. Rich zone must carefully obey all orders issued by local security services and remain vigilant. Please be cautious. The Ukrainian Ministry of Affairs and our embassy in Israel are ready to assist in any situation. To support Ukrainians in Israel, we established an operation headquarters. This is bullshit. The last part, every life is valuable. We condemn all forms of terrorism. Every life is valuable, except the generations of Ukrainian men that we are sacrificing in order to have NATO expansion, in order to appease Western oligarchs, so I may be in their club. I need a drink, man. This shit got me screaming today, bro. I had a drink. This shit literally had me screaming today. This shit is bonkers, fam. This shit is Joe Biden. This is Joe Biden's statement right now. This is the guy. This is the statement from the guy that many people, like Zach from the Vanguard, voted for Biden, by the way. Jordan from Status Quo voted for Biden. An insane war criminal that destroyed the black community, destabilized the Middle East, and he's continuing his unhinged legacy, building the Trump border wall, supporting the police by sending COVID relief funds to them, supporting Nazis in Ukraine. So, of course, Brandon is going to have as unhinged of a take as it gets. This is our executive branch. This is the person that Bernie Sanders, AOC, and the squad endorsed. This is Biden's statement. The United States unequivocally condemns the unprovoked attacks. Jesus fucking Christ. You guys see what I'm talking about? Unprovoked. Let me continue. This is fucking ridiculous. The United States unequivocally condemns the unprovoked attacks by Hamas terrorists against Israeli civilians. There was never any justification for terrorism. Jesus Christ. We stand firmly with the government and the people of Israel and extend our condolences for Israeli lives lost in these attacks. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan has spoken to Israeli National Security Advisor, I don't know how to say her name, I don't want to boil it, Tachachi Hanegbi, and we remain in close contact with our Israeli partners. Hurricane Jeffries, another Democratic leader that every single person in the squad voted for. The progressives didn't want to fight in the House because they wanted to support Hakeem Jeffries. This is his statement. My statement on the violent, unprovoked, there it is again. You just had violent Israeli raids on mosque and Palestinian in Gaza. You had bombings of Gaza. You have Gaza that don't have access to clean water in 95% of the locations because of the bombs and the poison that Israeli have done to their people. But Democrats, people that some, like Marianne Williamson, Cal and Crystal, believe is the lesser two evil, is repeating without shame the State Department propaganda of unprovoked. You guys see they use the term unprovoked in Ukraine. The unprovoked invasion of Ukraine. Let's ignore the 14,000 plus ethnic Russians that was killed by the fascist Ukrainian government. It was unprovoked. You guys see how they found their new favorite focus group tested propaganda term? Now, every time I see the word unprovoked in the media, I'm assuming they're lying. And that's a strategy because I know that every time you see someone say the word unprovoked and they're a United States politician, just know they are full of shit and they're lying about whatever the fuck they're talking about. So let me read Hakeem Jeffries' statement. He's the leader of the House Democrats. The people who are supposed to be way less chaotic than Matt Gaetz. This is the person, fam, that I am supposed to like more than Matt Gaetz, who also sucks. But you guys see, I don't buy into lesser two evilism. I hate the Democrats the same way we hate the Republicans. Here's Hakeem. I strongly condemn the violent and ghastly attack by the terrorist organization Hamas on the Jewish people in the state of Israel. Meanwhile, Israel shoots Shireen Abdul Akleh, one of the most prominent Palestinian journalists, in the head, raided mosque, assaulted and killed children. No statements like this from Hakeem Jeffries. No, none of this concern. Do you guys see this is hypocritical evil? When you're this hypocritical, it's evil. What's popping, Danny? We need to get you on the show, my friend. Glenn Ford called them the Black Misleadership class. Absolutely. That's where we get our politics from, my friends. Glenn Ford, Murray Kimberly, John Mubaraka, even Dr. Cornel West, I will 100% admit, had influence on me in my politics. A lot of people like, okay, RB and the Jimmy Dore left. Yes, we agree a lot with Jimmy Dore, but we get our politics from amazing people like Glenn Ford and Black Agenda Report, Murray Kimberly. Those are the people who I wouldn't mind anyone saying that I'm a Glenn Ford leftist, I'm a Murray Kimberly leftist. They're the GOAT. Big shout out to Danny Highfall, been absolutely killing the game recently. Absolutely killing the game, Danny. Man, let me finish this statement. These statements alone, I did not plan on going live this long. I plan on only going live for 30 minutes just to fucking talk about the issue, but this shit fires me up. Like, I was like, I'm not going to yell, I'm not going to scream, I'm just going to do a breakdown for you guys. Nope. What's going to happen, fam? You guys know what time it is. You guys know what time it is. Anyway, let me read this again from the beginning. I strongly condemn the violent and ghastly attacks by the terrorist organization Hamas on the Jewish people in the state of Israel. The loss of life in Israel as a result of the violent, calculated, and unprovoked attack by Hamas is heartbreaking. America stands firm and unequivocally with Israel. That's exactly what RFK says. Fam, wait till I show you guys the RFK tweet. What's poppin', CJ? Join whenever you're ready, my friend. I went longer than I planned on, but this is going to be a fun, unplanned handoff show, right? Let's see. I keep getting distracted, but you guys, these statements are all the fucking same anyway. The Congress must stand with Israel until the invasion by Hamas has been crushed and security in southern Israel and throughout the country has been permanently restored. Do I even have to explain to you guys why that's crazy? Do I even have to? I'm literally getting exhausted. I'm getting exhausted. Dude, this is so fun. Like, JB is the guy who usually do the fucking depressing ass. I guess I'll read super chat. Let me take a break, actually. I'll take a break and read some super chat from you guys. I see a few piled up. Big shout out to Danny as well. We need to have you back on the show. It's been too long, my friend. Let me read some super chats before I get to the next few receipts. It's already going long on web, but this is very necessary live stream. Thank you for the $20 to Wendy for the super sticker. I appreciate all the support from you guys. Thank you for the $10, Keel Jones. Oh, this is exactly what I said, fam. This is exactly why I tweeted 2 hours before RFK sent his statement out. I'm going to show you guys that soon. That's a spoiler for later this show. Where after I read the Israeli news, one of the takes I had in the beginning was, I can't wait to see the unhinged bullshit that comes from RFK. And just as we expected, RFK is trying to win the competition for the most unhinged garbage that we're going to hear today. Wait till we get to that segment. I'm glad CJ is going to join us here very soon. It's going to be a handoff show, and I know CJ wanted to talk about those tweets, so I'm glad I was able to hold off till then. Thanks for the $2. Critical solidarity to Palestine. GV Black is based. RBN audience is based, as always. Thanks for the $9.99. It's not adding up. You mean to tell me the most rigorous military regime in decades with most well-funded intelligence apparatus just missed the planning of these attacks at this scale? We will see what happens as more information get out there. But this is very humiliating for Israeli intelligence. Let me see if I can find the story I saw earlier. Israeli intelligence. Here it is. Because this fact, the Western media did not miss. I already see them like furious. We're supplying you all this money. What the fuck is going on? They will never be that mean, right? But this is from the BBC. How did Israeli intelligence fail to stop the major attack from Gaza? Now, I don't have all the information. This is still a new story, but this goes based on what I was saying to you guys before on multiple streams. The Western military, the United States military, the Israeli military is not effective. They are just good at committing war crimes. People think the United States military is effective and strong. No, it is not. The United States military lost every fucking war in the last century. They haven't accomplished their geopolitical agenda my entire lifetime. The war on terror was won by the terrorists. The United States got their ass beat in Vietnam. They lost Korea. That's why there's a North Korea. If the United States won, there wouldn't be no fucking North Korea. The United States, as well as the Israeli military, are not effective. What they do really well, the United States and the Israeli military is fantastic at causing civilian death, harm, and destruction, not at accomplishing military objectives, not at actually defending their people. They're not good at defending their people. They're not good at accomplishing their geopolitical goals. They are good at death and destruction. That's why when Russia rode into Ukraine and they didn't kill hundreds of thousands of Iraqis immediately, like we did, they were like, oh man, Russia must be losing. What's going on here? Why they not just killing the shit out of everybody like we do? Right? That's a good observation, and we may get the truth on this later, Juan. That's why I love reading super chats as well, because our community is always based. And whenever we get trolls, it's fun to take trolls on too. I love reading super chats. Thank you for the $5, Sean. What's terrorism? Anytime that word is used, it's to manufacture consent for state violence, repression, and war. The mass shootings are false flag attacks too. I'll comment on the first part there. That's why I told you guys Joe Biden is the largest eco-terrorist in human history. No one in corporate media will say that. Nobody in the quote-unquote independent media apparatus will say that. Why? Because they're brainwashed by American civility politics. I told you guys to use the same language that our ruling class used to describe our enemies is exactly how we should use to describe them because they do way worse shit. So Vladimir Putin is a war criminal. Hamas is a terrorist. No one is a bigger terrorist than Joe Biden. No one is a bigger terrorist than George W. Bush, than John Bolton, but they're not referred to that in our society. So I implore you guys, this is what I do rhetorically well. You guys must take the language of the propagandists and flip it on their head. That's exactly why I say Joe Biden is the biggest eco-terrorist in human history, because if Putin did what Biden did, that's what they would say about him. What's popping, CJ? I'm glad you're able to join me. Just join whenever you're ready. No rush. I was getting some super chats. I'm glad I was able to hold off the tweets from all the PFCs until you got here. So CJ gonna join us here soon. There he is. What's popping, brother?
What's up, man? I was just getting my lighting and everything set up, and I'm here though. But I've been watching the whole stream, and it just couldn't happen so perfectly. I hope you can stay along, as long as you can to cover these tweets because there's a lot.
Yeah, I can definitely. That's my last. I'll definitely cover that with you because I wasn't planning on going live. I don't know if you was, but after this Israeli shot, like, bro, I definitely got to pop in. Because I'm more the foreign policy wing of the RBN. I had to come in and get my perspective. But go ahead, CJ. I know you got a lot.
No, I love this. I love this, and I love the coverage. Because like I said yesterday or a couple of streams ago, you're the one that knows the most information. You at least know where to go get the source to information. So the presentation for the audience is great because you're giving an in-depth analysis. You're not seeing this, Nick, anywhere else.
Yeah.
You are an hour deep. Nigga, they covering this on the news for about 20 seconds.
Yeah.
About 20 seconds the wrong way. Yeah, so that's why this is absolutely great that you came on and did this. But if you want to continue with the super chats, I'll set up the next segment. Go ahead.
That's why I had to jump on immediately and correct the record as quickly as I could. Because you guys think that Ukraine war propaganda is bad, which it is, but bruh, Zionism is next level shit. You're getting the same message from every single Western media outlet. The same thing that Hakeem Jeffries is tweeting, the same thing that Mitch McConnell is tweeting, is the same thing that progressive Democrats are tweeting, essentially. Let me finish the super chats. We had quite a few come in. I paused my statement so I can get a few of them so I don't get too caught up. So thank you for 499 Everton. This is exactly what I tagged y'all about yesterday on Twitter. Absolutely, Everton. Always providing great receipts to us as well. I saw this coming when China brokered the peace. Interesting, Everton. Appreciate the super chats. Thank you for $20. Hey, Nick, thank you for covering this day. You guys know the Israel-Palestine cover. Well, that was one of the things like that got me to YouTube. I've been covering that from day one. Soon as shit popped out, I had no plans on going live today. I have my friends coming over a little bit later today. It's gonna be a fun day today. No plans on doing that, but this shit, I've been waiting for this pop up for a while. You know what I mean? Like, this Israel-Palestine issue is the core issue, which is why I could never let people like RFK and Marianne Williamson get this shit wrong. I could never let people get this issue wrong. It's way too close to me. I had Nicole Mandela, the grandson of Nelson fucking Mandela, on our show to talk about how important this issue is. But y'all think I'm gonna vote for a Zionist? Fuck out of here. Thank you for another super chat, Everton. Thank you for 499. It's exactly how I would plan things if I'm Russia and China to exhaust the global hand of the West, Africa, and Indonesia, all part of that plan. I don't think it's interesting theory, not a plan of Russia and China. This is the result of chaotic pro-Zionist policies. Yeah. And that's an interesting theory, Everton, but that's how I'm going to frame it. Like, if you guys are upset at the chaos, and I am upset, CJ, like, this is not good to see loss of life. Like, a lot of Palestinians are going to die because of this. But that anger goes towards unhinged, fucking psychopathic Zionist policies as a result of that. So maybe you're right and maybe I'm wrong, but I will always put the blame on Israeli policies first and foremost. Thank you for the $5, Tulio. Where will BRICS play into this, I wonder? Saudi Arabia
that's a good question. That is a good question.
Saudi Arabia just said they supported Palestine, and they were just recently admitted to BRICS. So we see. I'm interested to see what Lula had to say, to be honest. Lula's and AMLO opinion are the world leaders I'm looking forward to the most, seeing where they land. Because they're also leaders who are not right on everything, too, right? AMLO and Lula is not good on Haiti, for example. So they are not like they could possibly get this wrong, but Lula has been a long-time Palestinian supporter. Like he's been historically great on this issue. So I'm very interested to see what Lula. I might actually literally Google that midstream to see if he said something.
Yeah, just in case he dropped something. Go ahead.
I read like maybe 2 or 3 more, and then we read the rest later, just so CJ not waiting all day. Thank for $20, Sarah. First love to Zoya. Zoya's love. Zoya's life. This is Suspect. Zoya joined me on Nick and Night on Wednesday. This is after the bombing of the military graduation and escalation, and I don't know. That's a typo. Idlib, Syria, U.S. I don't know. Idlib, Syria. Oh no, that's a city. U.S. policy is Zionist policy to weaken era country. I just wasn't familiar with that city. Dangerous and scary with nuclear capabilities. Will said, Sarah. I'll read one more, and then I will read the rest of the super chats. If you guys want to, comment you want us to read, feel free to keep them coming. After our next segment, this is the last one I'll read for now. They were $5, Luca. The Palestinians are under brutal occupation 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It is impossible for any resistance action to be unprovoked. Absolutely. I just have 4 more tweets. I have 4 more tweets I will quickly go through, and then we're going to show you guys some PMC response. Let me fix this up. The PMC left. I literally predicted it. If you look at my timeline, as soon as I woke up, like, bro, I don't know what's going on. It's just crazy. Then I was like, yo, wait until the PMC left share their take on this shit. Wait until you hear the cringe. And it is as bad as you expect. Exactly as bad as you expect. All right, let me get back to my notes here. I'm going to pull this one up here. This is what I'm about to read before I paused. This is good for tweet from Philip. Not too familiar with Philip, but this is a good tweet. World leader after world leader tells us Israel has right to defend itself, and when they do so, it is a green light for Netanyahu to murder thousands of innocent men, women, and children in Gaza. Gone are the calls for restraint. Now they call for blood. Hey, fam, you want to know who did call for restraint? Russia and China. Obviously I can find it real quick, but I saw Russia and China's statement on this where they call for immediate peace and de-escalation. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. So as Russia is calling on immediate de-escalation while China calling for de-escalation, you have people in the West that say, oh, Israel has the right to do whatever the fuck they plan on doing. I know you said you were watching the stream, so you saw what Benjamin Netanyahu said, right? Yeah. Netanyahu is essentially like, fam, if you think I committed war crimes before, nigga, wait until you see me.
That's yeah.
And as he is saying that, CJ, you have people like Mondare Jones. I saw Bree go after him earlier. I didn't say the tweet. I may pull it up again quickly. This is the last second stream, guys. That's why I got a lot of those. Where Mondare Jones, the progressive, was like, yeah, I think Israel has the right to defend himself. When they are saying that, they are saying when Israel commits the war crimes they're about to commit, I'm going to look at the other way. I got one receipt from Mike Pence, being a clown as always. This is Mike Pence. He found a way to blame Trump for this, right? Pence slammed Trump. GOP voices of appeasement as Israel comes under attack. So the funny thing is, I know for a fact they edited this headline. They edited this. So they do this all the time. Like, if you read print media, they do this all the time. The editor may make changes. The original headline to this was Pence slams isolationist wing of Republican Party. So I guess they like made it more accurate to what he said, I guess. But the message is still the same, where Pence is essentially blaming people like Trump, Ron DeSantis, and Vivek for being isolationists and advocating for peace against Russia, and that's somehow emboldening the Palestinians. So, CJ, I told the audience, like, this is going to be something I'll be covering very often. Like, this is a huge story. I'm going to be giving you constant updates. Could wait till you see more of these clown-like takes like you hear from Mike Pence, right? We got Ursula von der Leyen.
Not her.
From the EU. I unequivocally condemn the attacks carried out by Hamas terrorists against Israel. It is terrorism in its most despicable form. Not NATO and Yugoslavia, CJ. Not Obama in Libya. It's Palestinians resisting their settler colonialists. You got to see how they exposed their mindset. Ursula von der Leyen, who family was settler colonialists, their generational wealth comes from slavery and oppressing other people. So to them, legitimately, when they see people uprising against that is worse than fucking the Holocaust to them, CJ. That is 9/11 for settler colonialists like Ursula von der Leyen. So she as well gives Netanyahu the permission to commit genocide. Well, she said Israel has the right to defend itself against heinous attacks. So the most base politician who I wish we had in the United States, right? Oh shit! I didn't even share that whole screen. Oh, my bad. I was slipping. This is what I was supposed to be sharing. This tweet where Ursula von der Leyen was saying that, where she was saying that Israel had the right to defend herself. That was supposed to be on the screen. You guys just reading the Pence headline again. So Claire Daly. So people wonder why we do like diss tracks on AOC and Bernie all the time. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, nigga, if we had Claire Daly in Congress, nigga, we'd be the most positive damn channel on YouTube. Like, nigga, you see what Claire Daly said? Hell yeah, this is great. We need more Claire Dalys in Congress. That's not gonna happen in the United States. We gotta look across the pond for people like Claire Daly. Sickening, the EU Commission president criminally giving Israel a carte blanche for the spectacle of shocking violence it will now unleash against desperate civilians caged in Gaza, dressed up as self-defense, endorsing a massacre, unforgivable thuggery. I love how Claire Daly, just like me, you guys see, just like me, she don't hold back. I love that shit. Me and CJ, we love people who don't fucking hold back. You know what I mean? This the same way with some people, like, oh my God, I'm horrified when this person said me, and she's like, hell yeah, nigga. She said she does not speak for us, so thank God for Claire Daly. Does she have any other statements? Like, this is all breaking, guys, so I'm still trying to find new shit for you guys. So no, that's a base statement for Claire. This is the last receipt I had saved before our next segment. Do you want to lead the progressive?
It doesn't matter. Like, as long as we get to the receipts, I'm sure we're gonna cover a lot of the same stuff. So if you're ready, I know you're already kind of hyped. So it might be good if you deliver.
Yeah, I know you just joined. Yeah. I've been ranting like a motherfucker. This story is unbelievable. Like, you guys know, I've been shambles this whole stream, man. Like, trying to reconcile what the fuck is going on. But it's getting real. The story I've been covering for a very long time is reaching a very important point. This is a very, very important moment in Palestinian resistance. And I said in the beginning of the stream, absolutely critical solidarity to Palestinians.
Nick, I do have something to say. Let me say this part as a bridge, sort of, not really the topic, but as a bridge, is that when it's time for revolution, you don't want to find out who's really on your side at the time of revolution. So these are the opportunities that we're finding out who is going to be on the battlefield with us, the people who are for Ukraine now. You know how I'm anti-war, but they NATO left now. They're being exposed. The pandemic exposed a lot of people. And this incident with Palestine, Nick, is exposing a lot of people, like Bernie Sanders. I didn't know this about Mondaire Jones, but apparently Mondaire Jones, I did see the tweet.
I'm not surprised
of Bree responding. And what Claire Daly says in that tweet speaks to what Cornel West, the despicable nature, why it makes his tweet so terrible, is because it's dressed up. Their retaliation, their brutal oppression that's coming is going to be dressed up as self-defense. And academics like Cornel West, who says stuff both sidesism, give cover for that idea that this. So look at when we get to his tweet where he says, and the awful brutality by the Palestinians. That's all they got to point to. Netanyahu just got, look, Cornel West points it out right here. It's brutality. Look at it. But go ahead. That's my preface.
The Palestinian Community Network told us the same thing, man. I don't know if you guys remember that during our first anti-war time. I'll never forget this. Well, she said, you guys don't understand. There are people who support Palestine. There are, like, you know how the same way we have like Negro moderates, the Black Congressional Caucus, who pretend to support our issues. Like, everyone in the Black Congressional Caucus is rhetorically pro-Black, right?
Right.
But then they work against us. There are people that support the Palestinian cause that's like that. And so I get my messaging from the people like the Palestinian Community Network. I actually talk to Palestinians, unlike other leftists, right? And they say when people pretend to support our cause and then they tone police our reactions and our suggestion how to resist the Israeli apartheid state, they give a win to Zionists. And these are things that Palestinians will explain to you if you actually talk to Palestinians. So I really need Dr. Cornel West to talk to people like the Palestinian Community Network.
White
understand
moderate.
what he's doing.
That's a white moderate. I don't know what the term they have, but in our culture, Nick, we use the term white moderate, where they're projecting like they're with us, but they're telling us to keep that shit down. Stop rousing, don't get the ruling class. That's exactly who they are. That's who they are. But continue. Go ahead.
So this is my tweet before this, and this is my way I intro this segment. Because in my life, I gotta go here soon because I actually went longer than I planned on. But I'll finish this segment though. I said this is what I said early in the morning as I'm reconciling what the fuck is going on. I'm like, how long? Because everyone's still at the same time, everyone 4 million or 2. We waking up people who are in different time zones. Like Richard Medhurst, he did a great stream. He was covering this very early because I think he's like UK time zone or something like that.
He's UK, so he's several hours ahead. Yeah.
So people who usually up 1 a.m., 12 a.m. my time, they was getting the first takes out. It's good that Medhurst went first because Medhurst always does great work on this. But
because to set the tone, to make sure no nonsense come out, he kind of sets the tone. Because that's why that's so fantastic. Important. Yeah.
Make sure you guys subscribe to JB Font channel. Like he had Richard Medhurst on multiple times. He just had him on this week. He's someone I definitely need to bring on, especially in light of this issue. But I said this immediately as people were formulating their take on this issue. I said, how long until the PMC white left starts wagging their finger at Palestinians about how to properly resist their genocidal occupier? Now, I will actually take the L here because I said PMC white left, Dr. Cornel West. You want to know the last fucking person I expected?
Last person.
So I take the L there. I will, because I didn't expect anyone to be who's a black leftist to be like, hey, Palestinians, stop being so mean. Get the fuck out of here with that. So that's an L. But anyway, I will change this part now, I guess. I would change this part, if I had a chance to edit the tweet, to the PMC class, right? How long until the PMC class start wagging their finger at Palestinians about how to properly resist their genocidal occupier? And I continue, and I explain this to Dr. West as well. Actually, no, I actually kind of shared this in Dr. West's tweet, so I should share that part later. Before we did get Dr. Cornel West, I'm going to read you guys the usual suspects, and you can share some more receipts if you have some as well. Here are the usual suspects being as terrible as we expect them to be. Bernie Sanders, someone that people are still reconciling he's horrible. Like, we've been like Bernie horrible since the inception of RBN, right? Like people, like me and you, we were the first people, like really taking like the heat when we was going super hard on Bernie. Like Jimmy as well. Nico House was super early. Fiorella was early. Misty Winston was early.
Misty was always early. Yeah,
Misty was the earliest, guys. I'll let you guys know. She was the fucking earliest. But now it's super socially acceptable to criticize Bernie and AOC. Once again, we take pride in being the people that take the hits first, right? Now Bernie says, I absolutely condemn the horrifying attacks on Israel by Hamas and Islamic Jihad.
Nick,
there is no justification. Go ahead, CJ.
You know how much it says that Bernie Sanders is part of the usual suspects. Because when you said usual suspects, Nick, I didn't even think of Bernie Sanders. But you're right. He is now a usual suspect. As far as Democratic shielding, because when you said that, I was like, let me see who's he about to bring up here. And he said Bernie Sanders. I'm like, yeah, that motherfucker is a usual suspect. We have transitioned, people, when it comes to understanding progressive Democrat politics and the narratives. That is just all virtue signaling. When it comes down to the nitty gritty, Nick, they are just regular Democrats, regular corporate Democrats without corporate backing. That's worse. You got community worker-based backing, and you're still making corporate decisions. What kind of shit is that? Go ahead, Nick. That is amazing.
It does not surprise me when Bernie continued to do horrible shit now. I remember when he used to be surprised, like, damn, Bernie, what the fuck? Now it's like, oh, here Bernie at it again, being a shit lib. This is the criticism that even Dr. Cornel West had on Bernie Sanders. He came on our show and said Bernie Sanders is weak on imperialism. Bernie Sanders is weak on the Israel-Palestine issue. So I'll put Bernie Sanders, his tweet is horrible. not as Cornel West is tweeting not as bad as Bernie.
Yeah, it's not as bad as Bernie. Yeah, it's not.
There's level to this shit. Got a Cornel West tweet is still not good, but Bernie is like the king of the sellout mountaintop, right? So I'll start from the beginning. I interrupted myself. I absolutely condemn the horrifying attack on Israel by Hamas and Islamic Jihad. There is no justification for violence. No justification, CJ. So if you're a slave, if your master enslaved you, you got a way to free yourself. This is the example that Kwame Ture uses all the time. So your master got you enslaved, and you have a weapon, a mechanism to free yourself. You're not going to engage in it. And
that's what Bernie Sanders says.
Yeah.
That's what Bernie Sanders would say. That's the white. How is that literally not the definition of white moderate? How,
that's
Nick?
Exactly what you've been saying.
And you know what this is else exposing to me? I don't know if you think of this as a black person. When somebody says this, I'm thinking you would be on the side of the slave owners in the time with my ancestors, Bernie Sanders. If this is your take, you would absolutely be one of the people saying, slave, don't rise up and do nothing. We're going to do this through legislation.
Yep. Look at the last part here. There's no justification for this violence.
Terrible.
Innocent people on both sides will suffer hugely because of it. It must end now. Bernie Sanders, innocent Palestinian people will suffer no matter what happens. This is the analogy I used earlier. CJ, will you allow yourself to be tortured forever by a psychopath, or will you just essentially fight the motherfucker and try to end it? So the Palestinian people are being slowly tortured, genocide, and ethnically cleansed by the Israeli government with no signs of that slowing down. Not only is it not slowing down, the Israeli apartheid regime has doubled down. So yes, people are suffering right now because that's the result of United States policy in Israel. But Palestinian people will suffer no matter what happens. So what freedom fighters do when they in this lose-lose situation is they fight. Our ancestors fought. Revolutions were fought by people who fought. People suffered in order to stop the continuation of suffering and torture. Bernie Sanders. Unbelievable. Like, now you guys see why I say Bernie Sanders is a white moderate? CJ, how many people have we shocked? By saying, Bernie, No, guys, that's how I read it. That's how I read people tweets. I'm to, you say Bernie? How dare you, sir? How dare you? Yes, not Joe Biden. Joe Biden is the enemy that we fight. There's supposed to be, I should say, no confusion about that. The white moderate is the person you don't easily identify as the enemy. They do the bidding of the ruling class. They undermine your movement. That's exactly what Bernie Sanders has done to the Palestinian people. And Palestinian people will tell you that. How many Palestinian people that we have on our community, on our network, especially from the Palestinian Community Network and others, that had great things to say about Bernie Sanders?
Not one.
Zero. Not one.
Zero.
The white left loved the motherfucker, though. Ryan Grimm gonna write a book about the motherfucker. You know what I mean? So,
we are in such a bad situation, Nick, with the people that could be possibly team name with us, man. Ryan Grimm, Sam Cedar, Jank, all getting these issues wrong, all bad on force. Of what are we doing here?
You had Ryan Grimm write a book about the squad and how they raised a revolution. Then the Vanguard boys, remember Zach voted for Joe Biden. They invited him on this softball interview so he can plug his fucking book on the revolution. And now you guys see why the Vanguard channel hasn't grown in over a year. Motherfuckers allowing Ryan Grimm to grift their audience and they call themselves leftists. What a fucking joke. You got Ryan Grimm on to plug your book about revolution. You ask no tough questions. What a dipshit. Speaking of dipshits, this is why I also predicted very early on. Why I say, and this is, we all knew it. I'm not even saying this is a prediction. I'm not saying this is a great prediction by me. Anyone could have sent this tweet. There's not a prop for me for saying this. This is literally easily observable observation. Why I say, how long until RFK Jr. tweets something completely unhinged about the Israel-Palestine conflict? I knew that motherfucker just boiling, bro.
He's waiting.
No, he like, y'all need, no, we just take our time. We're going to craft this statement. This shit need to be perfectly unhinged. I don't want an ordinary statement, man. Hell nah. This is my moment. I want AIPAC to accept me. Accept me, Netanyahu. I'm an anti-establishment fighter. I'm RFK. I'm a deeply serious person. I'm gonna fight the empire, but I want to support Israel. I can't wait to put this statement out. So wait till you guys see what this motherfucker says. And I also say he's been suspiciously quiet. You know he's cooking something up. You guys want to see what this motherfucker cooked up? He sent his advisors. He sent these motherfuckers in the kitchen, and look at what they cooked up.
Oh my God.
RFK. The ignominious, unprovoked RFK uses State Department propaganda, as I explained before in this stream. This ignominious, unprovoked, and I'll read the whole thing without interrupting because there's going to be a lot to say about this. Barbaric attack on Israel must be met with world condemnation and unequivocal support for the Jewish state right to self-defense. We must provide Israel with whatever it needs to defend itself now. As president, I make sure that our policy is ambiguous. I'll struggle with that.
Ambiguous. But Nick, can you pause right there?
Yeah, we pause. Holy
you can
shit.
pause right there because you telling me his COVID policy trumps this insanity? Is that what you're telling me? Is that what you're telling me? That his COVID policy trumps this nonsense?
Hell no.
Get the fuck out of here.
You niggas lost their goddamn mind.
Get the fuck out of here.
Now we gonna get Dr. Westside's pasta.
Oh, he's coming.
He's coming, fam. Everyone's getting it.
We're getting everybody today.
Everyone's getting it. The pasta, get your boy. Know what I mean? And I had a conversation with my good friend Aaron Good. Great guy. But this is unacceptable. This is why it's not a small issue, Aaron. Absolutely not. So he is not anti-empire when he's going to do everything that Israel wants him to do. You know what Israel wants us to do, CJ? He wants us to provoke Iran. So get what RFK going to do when he becomes president. He's going to double down on Biden's Iran policy. He's already called Biden weak on Iran, fam. He's going to support Israel bombing Syria. How the fuck is this guy anti-empire? I am asking people to be serious for once in their goddamn life. I am asking for people to stop falling for hero worship for once in their goddamn life. Because I like Dr. Cornel West as a fucking guy. I said it 1,000 times. But there's no hero worship here because I'm about to get his ass next. So let me continue. We must provide Israel with whatever it needs to defend itself. Now, as president, I make sure our policy is, was that CJ? You meant
ambiguous. It's hard for me too, but everybody can read it.
So that the enemies of Israel will think long and hard before attempting aggression of any kind. I applaud the strong statement of support from the Biden White House.
Wow. Why are you running independent? What's the purpose in that? What's the purpose in that?
I probably didn't read it. I don't know why I didn't read that part the first time I saw this tweet. I probably saw the first part and rage quit. So I need my brother Pasta. I need my people who rightly criticize Dr. Cornel West for being weak on Biden. I literally need all you motherfuckers to make a video about this shit right now. I applaud the strong statement of support from the Biden White House. You mean that fucking statement I just ripped to shreds? RFK is praising that shit.
We literally have no heroes.
If you guys thought I went hard on RFK and his supporters before, wait till this shit's done, bro. It's on. I am not letting RFK supporters look over this tweet. This is on.
Nick, we literally, this is proving to be, we literally have no heroes. We shouldn't have tried to skip steps with Cornel West. We literally have zero heroes. Just think about in the last 48 months, because I want to cover Bernie Sanders. Who is our heroes? Bernie. No, not anymore. RFK, non-establishment. He has a great critique. Are you listening to this? Cornel West, finally, Green Party. Are you seeing this shit? There is no one. It's us. It's us. That's it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The left is definitely skipping steps, right?
Nader, too. I forgot about that. Nader. Thank you, our based audience. Thank you. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's why we love Rome, fam. I see you pro philosophy. That's what Rome been about trying to say. That's why I love my brother Rome. Absolutely why I love brother Rome. This experiment is exactly showing why electoral politics is a joke. Absolutely. And I'm glad this moment is going to fire up more people to realize that. We cannot skip steps. For me personally, my fucking motives operating, I wasn't going to change no matter what. Right? But we can't skip steps as a movement and think that fucking any of these PLC people are going to be a savior.
Yeah.
So let me read that part again. That shit. I don't know why when I first read this, I literally didn't get to the second paragraph. I just assumed the rest of it was garbage. That is so funny to me. So when he was cooking this statement, someone in his team, maybe him, was like, let's make sure that we compliment Joe Biden here. That's unbelievable that he says this.
They probably have a person on the staff, the Joe Biden compliment checker. Wait, does this compliment Joe Biden? It does not. Yeah. Can we insert something here, sir?
Oh man, like I'm gonna give props to every RFK fan who do cover this though, but there gotta be reconciliation. The people who don't cover this cringe, it's sus. I applaud the strong statements of support from Biden, White House for support of Israel in her hour of need. He giving Israel gender now. Wow. I thought he didn't like gender pronouns, man.
You know what? That's a propaganda tactic, Nick. That this is literally a propaganda tactic that you give it female features because female or childlike features. So those are two tactics you give. You don't give it masculine terms. It's so that you emotionally connect to that. That is a tactic. That's not happenstance at all when you do that.
So right wingers, not necessarily saying only RFK, but I've seen him go along with their talking points on their show. He don't like conflict with those people. They hate pronouns, but they will call Israel her in a second. He applauded Biden for standing up for Israel in her irony. Now pronouns are important. Now we're talking about Israel, right? Isn't that funny how the right operates?
Yeah.
However, the scale of these attacks mean that it's likely that Israel will need to wage a sustained military campaign to protect its citizens. Statements of support are fine, but we must follow through with unwavering, resolute, practical actions. Unwavering. That's a scary word to use, fam. America must stand by our allies throughout this operation and beyond as it exercises its sovereign right to self-defense. Jesus Christ. That's RFK saying the same thing as Ursula von der Leyen. RFK sounds like fucking Nancy Pelosi right now. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Somebody said that. Was that you or somebody else?
That was me. I fucking got almost 15,000 likes saying that, fam. I didn't know that.
Crazy.
I just saw it.
Crazy.
So he sent this tweet out 2 hours ago. I said, you sound like Nancy Pelosi right now. And that shit gets 15,000 likes.
Yeah.
Get wrecked, you fucking Zionist bitch. You get fucking wrecked. That's funny. That's fucking hilarious. I'm never going to ratio RFK. He got too many followers. He got 2 million. He got 2.4 million followers. You're not going to get a ratio on him. But if you get 1,500 likes in 2 hours, that's pretty damn good, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get a ratio, but that's pretty. Look at Sabby out here, too. Look at Sabby.
Sabby be going ham at RFK. Sabby be going ham at RFK. So I'm with her, too. I'm with anybody critiquing any of this nonsense because we have to. The reason for me, and I need to start saying this more often, the reason for me, Palestinians in this issue is such a big issue that is not negotiable is because this is the Black issue 200 years ago. Yes. This is our issue in the 1800s. And whoever is siding with Israel would be siding with the slave owners.
Absolutely.
That's how I look at this. So if you're siding with Israel, RFK, you would absolutely be finding a way to side with slave owners.
This is super interesting, CJ. This wasn't planned. I found this scrolling. Kim Iverson, giant, notorious RFK supporter.
Don't tell me she
said, and there goes my candy vote out the window.
Wow, that's huge.
That's huge, fam.
Because of the person with the biggest platform who literally like advocates for him the most, she is it. She is it.
That's how fucked up. That's how bad this statement is. Now we need to see Dr. West fans say the same. You're gonna be consistent. Because I found one RFK Jr. fan at least consistent.
Yeah, and you know what? I give Kim Iverson. I've had critiques on her on some of her culture war stuff, and I still have critiques because she does dabble in that. But all of her rest of her stuff is spot on. Even her COVID stuff is spot on. I love how she goes into detail. But to me, and for RBN, and for you and me, Nick, we always say this. It is so important to be intellectually consistent. Yeah, it is so important for me to even give you like any credibility if you are waffling. So she gets major credit from me, and I'm surprised. I got to be honest with you. I am gleefully surprised, and I am happy to be surprised in this way about Kim. Yeah, I'm happy. I give Kim a shout out because she has Savvy on the show. She platform savvy, so that was always good for her to do. But I had she said some stuff regarding protesting, the George Floyd protest. That was disgusting, fam. Well, I'll never look at her the same again. Pro-police state, government bootleg and shit. Oh, they're protesting too hard. Ever since I saw that shit from Kim Iverson, I never looked at her the same. But I give her props for that. I give her props for this. And I hope she makes a video calling out RFK. Dude, and this getting her post got a lot of likes, man. I'm not gonna read all of them now, but I'm definitely gonna scroll through this after we get offline. Because I seen this tweet early. Look, here's Scott Ritter. Let's see what Scott Ritter said. I like RFK Jr. I think come on, Scott. Bobby should not be promoting an equitable peace settlement, not war. So he criticized the position, but then he still bootlicked for him. No, nigga, I think this is an issue pouring enough to drop him. Jackson called him out to debate Max. So this is something else that like you can never take. What did Jackson say? Well, first, is he an RFK person? Because this person,
I have no idea. I haven't followed his work. Okay. Yeah, I haven't followed his work, but he demands an RFK debate Max Blumenthal, and which is another thing that is something I would never take RFK seriously. After in front of thousands of people on the Jimmy Dore show, he said he would debate Max, and then his advisor's like, "Nigga, no, nigga, we ain't doing that shit." And he followed directions. So that's one of the reasons why RFK is not serious. He's a coward. But anyway, I was personally interested in seeing his reaction. Now let's get to the main event. So before we get to Dr. Cornel West, let's show this tweet from John Braca. Because Dr. Cornel West's take is very disappointing because that's the Israel-Palestine issue was supposed to be his best issue. You know what I mean? That's the issue that makes me have a large amount of respect for Dr. West. He sacrificed his career for the Israel-Palestine issue. And now you waffling on it? For what? For what? You think Zion is gonna see your tweet and be like, hey, then Dr. Cornel West, he got a good head on his shoulder. I guess we give him a chance. No, they're not. So if you're not gonna support you're not gonna get the support of the unhinged Zionists, to speak truth to power.
Nick, unless he really believes this. Unless he really believes this. Again, we may be giving him more credit.
That's possible.
Through his advocacy than he should be getting. But go ahead to continue.
So I'll read Jama's tweet first. I wanted to read his tweet before I read Dr. West.
Yes.
Anyone who mischaracterizes legitimate Palestinian resistance against colonial occupation as aggression or any liberal-inspired adjectives is not a friend of Palestinians, but a collaborator with liberal obscurantism and mass confusion that only benefits the colonialists.
Right. That's what I was referring to about his tweet earlier, but Ajamu makes it so much more clearer about that point, is that this is not, when we get to this tweet now, this is not just a simple, it's a mischaracterization. No, you're giving cover for a colonial settler project. That's what you're giving cover to.
And I got both RFK and Dr. West today because I almost complete this ratio going to be complete by the end of the day. My ratio on Dr. West here, I see.
Oh, and his whole thing, Nick. I saw that tweet before we really started going in at it because all of our community started going in at it probably about 3 hours ago. I saw that tweet before that where you see all those comments and all those retweets. It was not nearly anything like that. And then we all started going in for a good 3 hours. Everybody seeing it in their feed. And now that shit is completely flipped. He gonna get ratio multiple times in there.
Yeah, I got there early because I got there about 20 minutes after he sent a tweet before people going after him.
Mhm.
He was getting boosted by liberals in his first reaction. So I'll read his tweet for people who haven't seen it. Dr. Cornel West said the escalation of barbaric violence in the Middle East must stop, implying that the escalation was started today. The vicious Israeli occupation and the ugly Palestinian retaliation.
How can you retaliate against occupation? That is literally that is not the definition of the word. You can't retaliate if you're resisting or self-defending. Doesn't make any sense. An assailant attacks you. It's not retaliation if you push back against an assailant, unless you don't believe the dynamic is assailant versus victim. You get what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying. Cornel West is telling us here he's not the person we thought he was on this issue. He's not. He's significantly better than everybody else. That doesn't make him completely right. That's all I'm saying. But go ahead.
Let me read this again. The escalation of barbaric violence in the Middle East must stop. The vicious Israeli occupation and the ugly Palestinian retaliation results in the killing of precious innocent people on both sides. He couldn't wait to use that term. Both sides. We must have a lasting peace based on justice.
Nick, if there's a slave rebellion, there's people on one side trying to break slavery and people on the other side trying to keep slavery. Who on the side that's keeping slavery is good, sir? Who?
Exactly. So this is why I say, and I'm gonna read some more responses. I didn't see a lot of this because this ratio is astounding. I left this reply and I haven't seen it. I'm not gonna get the ratio on RFK, but I'm definitely gonna get the ratio on Dr. West when this is over. But I got both of them today. I'm proud of that. I got both Dr. Cornel West and RFK. Well, I say this is a horrific tweet. And this is the question I've seen people ask Dr. Cornel West. I'm sure more ask. Dr. Cornel West, what do you imply the Palestinian people do? That's the question. What do you imply that they do? When you have escalatory attacks, you have peace movements. You had a peace march where Palestinians were peacefully protesting Israel. You know what Israel did to that peaceful march? Is that, TJ? Attacked and killed 60 to 80 people. It doesn't matter if they protest peacefully. It doesn't matter what they do. The violent Israeli apartheid regime will kill them. And the reporters like Shireen Abdul-Akleh. What did Shireen Abdul-Akleh did to deserve her death, Dr. Cornel West? Nothing. So if the Palestinian people continue to do nothing, they will continue to be victims of violence. There's a certain point where PMCs must understand that you draw the hard line and you decide whether you take the fight on or you will continue to slowly die and suffer. You're going to be genocided away. So I also continue here in my tweet. Every nonviolent action by Palestinians have been crushed by the Israeli regime. Some states are even passing anti-BDS laws in the United States. They got some in Missouri, they got some in Florida, and the Israeli lobby for that. They're taking away the ability for people to support BDS, and people like Jamal Bowman and the Justice Democrats, they don't support BDS either. So Palestinians can't peacefully boycott Israel. They can't march against Israel. And they can't fight back against their violent oppressors. So what do you say them do, Cornel West? Huddle up in a circle, sing Kumbaya, and ask Benjamin Netanyahu nicely?
That's what they think.
You guys see how this shit gets people killed? This non-violent shit gets people killed. That's the name of a book that all you guys should read. How many Palestinians are going to die following the direction of this bullshit? Well, let's hug our violent oppressor and they will love us. And I continue, Palestinians have every right to resist their genocidal occupier. Both sizing these issues and implying Palestinian escalated is extremely disappointing. Now, TJ, as always, ahead of the goddamn curve. CJ ahead of the goddamn game, as always. Can you want to know who the only person who didn't get this wrong? God damn, I wish he was on the ballot, my friend. PSL never been on the ballot. I hope it happens. Because there's not even close, fam, who the best candidate is. And CJ was there first.
Listen, man.
Not even fucking
I'm
close.
just so happy I'm so happy they on the ballot in my state because I would just be so disoriented. Actually, I wouldn't because we gonna do the same work in our community.
Probably.
Yeah, we gonna do the same. I hope Jill Stein jumps into the race. Claudia is good, and whoever is in your state that is the furthest left, you vote for that person. Or if if you got a lot of choices like me, I might have Stein and Claudia on the freaking ballot here, and some more leftists that we don't even know about. So I'm happy for that, but they don't get shit like this wrong. PSL don't get shit like that's wrong because they're actual socialists. They're actual socialists.
Yeah, let me read the statement here, and I'm pretty much done. I went way long on our plan, so I'll pass to you, CJ, here soon.
Yeah, for sure.
Here's from Claudia de Cruz of the PSO party. We join the world in standing with the people of Palestine in their just and courageous struggle against occupation. How can it be this possible to be this based? How is it possible? So as everyone using bullshit terms like unprovoked, Palestine is causing violence by resisting their oppressor. They said we support Palestinians in their just and courageous struggle because what they're doing is just. It is courageous. You got to see the Israelis fleeing from this quote-unquote homeland. Israel cannot beat them. They was humiliated despite pretty much unlimited Western military support because Israel don't have the spirit that Palestinians do. Israel know they're fake. Israel know they're not real. So are you going to fight as hard as these people who've been oppressed for generations? Of course not. There's absolutely no more courageous and just fight, and I would die on that hill. So that's my last thought. CJ, anything you want to add? I can read super chat.
Yeah. I just want to read maybe 3 reactions.
Go ahead. I'll say for that.
Yeah, I just want to read a couple of reactions. Because QM and Mene actually responded too. It responded with the classic Sister Soldier video. That's not what I'm showing you here. I want to read
more reactions to Dr. West as well because
I just want to read just a couple of reactions. If you got any more, I'll start. I'll start right here. Here is I don't think you read this one, but Palestinians should. Okay, so this is Fiorella responding directly to Cornell. Palestinians should just die, not fight back after 75 years of oppression. They're fighting and doing a fraction of what Israel has done, and everyone screams. Both siding apartheid isn't a position, and anti-imperialists should take as Israel is an extension of the U.S. Extension of the imperialist U.S. Military-industrial complex, and that is spot on from Fiorella. And then just a couple more here. This one is from Misty. Always just cuts to the chase. Dude is legit trying to both side this shit. F off. This is where I first saw his tweet. Was from her. I said, "Oh my god, man!" Because when I woke up, all of you guys was knee deep in this shit, and I'm just learning like what the hell happened here when I woke up. Go ahead.
Hey, fair, man. I said this before, man. In order to be more positive, I'd say I appreciate the revolutionary optimism of people like RFK and Dr. West supporters. But Dr. West and RFK is getting you motherfuckers a lot of work. Like, you see these motherfuckers that spend a lot of time defending Dr. West and their shit. He's giving you guys a lot of work that is not needed. Like, if there's a natural leader that steps up and everyone loves the motherfucker, they knocking out of the park, then yeah, I guess that's a good idea. But the fact that we constantly got to see this cringe ass shit. There been so many L's already. The fact that you guys had to come out and defend them so hard already, it's very disappointing, man. That's the word I use because I much rather be doing a hype video for Dr. Cornel West instead of this.
Yeah,
but it's disappointing. Like, that'll be way better, fam. Like I don't enjoy this. But why can't you guys be right? Like that's how I feel. Like, man, I don't want to roast you people. Just be right. How hard is it to be right? Am I roasting Rome for his bad taste? No, it's not hard. Go ahead, CJ.
Swamp Communist says, you guys for real want this vote. You guys want me to vote for this imperialism. Not anymore. General Strike, who always has pretty good takes. Now he's both sizing apartheid. He's trying to make sure he doesn't get even 1% of the vote. Did not think West would be a both sides guy on this. It's surprising to a lot of people too, Nick. Shut up. Yeah. There's no justice in occupation, all power to Palestinian resistance. And I'm just happy, and this is yours. You already went over yours. I'm just happy, Nick, that he's getting this reaction. At least it's telling me, okay, at least the workers are down with the Palestinians. Because if it was people just still cheering for him, even after this, it would be disheartening. Dr. West, people defending themselves against ethnic cleansing and genocide, let alone the theft of their land, is not ugly retaliation. That is self-defense, and every human being has the right to do that. And I think that's, let me read JB, and that'll be it for a reaction. Palestinians are fighting illegal occupation. The fight is for freedom from that occupation, Dr. West. The Palestinians are under apartheid conditions on their own land. They must set the terms, not the government of Israel or Western powers. That is just JB being freaking based as fuck. I got to read mine. I forgot.
Yeah, go ahead.
Cornell West rightfully called out RFK's Zionism, but turns out Cornell West is Zionist adjacent. Maybe it's a good thing he's now running as an independent so he can't spread this nonsense. And that's pretty much all I wanted to share, unless you had anything else, Nick.
I read just a few super chats. Like, I actually legitimately didn't plan on going live today, but I did 2 hours because this story was crazy. That's just what we do, right? So I'm glad I was able to give you guys my perspective. I couldn't wait to Monday. I couldn't let you guys ingest this propaganda for 2 days and then me come on Monday and explain everything. I had to come out first. That's why I wanted to get this out today. Give you guys the proper framing of this shit today, so you can spot these fucking progressive accept Palestine fucks in the wild. I want you guys to be equipped to catch these people. I want you guys to know what the corporate media is saying. So I couldn't take this weekend off in light of this news. So I'll read a few super chats. I'm not gonna read all of them. You had enough.
I can read. Yeah, I can finish the super chats. Don't worry. Like, wherever you leave off, I'll just pick up.
Yeah, I just read a few. I'll read maybe like 5 or 6 and I get out here because I actually haven't ate today, so I'm starving. I'll start for the I'll start where I left off at, just to make it easier for you. I was about to start from the bottom. I saw this one just because you shout out me.
Start from where you left off, so I know.
Love your support for Palestine, Nick. You're a true supporter of truth and freedom for all. I always view my positions as a duh. So I appreciate the kind words, but it's always awkward when you prayed for it, just having a duh position. You know what I mean? So I appreciate the kind words. But the anger that I feel for Palestinian people, how everyone should feel. You know what I mean? The anger I feel for Democrats and Republicans, how everyone should feel. So I appreciate the comment words. It's always awkward to take those comments where, I believe everyone should be there. The comments shouldn't even be needed. You know what I mean? Just because everyone should be there. I try to find where I left off. I know
it's all right.
I read that one.
I think that by the timestamp, I can probably put it together.
I know. Yeah, I think this is where I left off. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is where I left off here. Thank you for $2, Brandon. Like, I only read like probably 4 or 5 just to give some people some sense of closure. Thank you for $2, Brandon. Gates can bury the squad by being pro-Palestinian. Unfortunately, he would not. Like, guys, I praise Gates for the Ukraine thing and his strategy, but let's not get twisted. I'm all but guaranteed this motherfucker sends some pro-Israel shit out. I will admit if I'm wrong. If I am, but I always see Marjorie Taylor Greene. She sent out an unhinged pro-Israel take. Like, I am 100% realistic. I explained my concept with coalition before. When I say when we build coalition with Marjorie Taylor Greene and support in the Ukraine war, it's a coalition only on that issue. Like, we're gonna fight them motherfuckers on China. We're gonna fight them on Cuba. We're gonna fight them on Palestine, right? And we understand. We acknowledge that. So that would be funny. That's a funny timeline where Gates burying the squad from outflanking them, but it's not gonna happen. Let's be real. Let's be real. Thanks for $5. Name my taco. The first Continental Congress was a terrorist organization. The Taliban was a terrorist organization. So when are legit governments formed? Thanks for the $5. Not sure when exactly you asked that. Thanks for $5. Name my taco. Thanks for the 1999 Everton. Ukraine was a declaration from the communist country to let the Western globalists know that the stalemate is over and they will fight back. Y'all are missing obvious. I'm not blaming. Wait, let me read that again. Ukrainian was a declaration from a communist country, let the Western globalists know that the stalemate is over and they will fight back. And y'all missed out. I'm not blaming Russia or China. Thank you for super chat. I'm not sure how to interpret that right now. Thank you for super chat. Maybe it's been a long day, but I'm like, I don't know what to take that. I appreciate the perspective. Thank you for the 499. You guys need to stop think the global things are happening in isolation. Absolutely, that's not the case. These are calculated decisions. Pay closer attention. Everything that the U.S. empire does is actually quite predictable because imperialism is the highest form of late-stage capitalism. When you run out people, your own people to exploit, you find other people problems to exploit. That's why Republicans who are capitalists who enable this military-industrial complex cheer for the Ukraine war. I mean, not in the Ukraine war, but the Mexican war. They cheer on the war on terror and all these other things. I laugh at them when they think they're anti-war when they prop up the system that benefits from war.
Right.
That's why socialists and communists are generally always the most anti-war because we want to dismantle the system that create war. So I don't know why you say we believe these things happen in isolation because our critique is the system will always breed war. If anything, the right wing believes that these things are isolation. People, the right wing think, oh man, the Ukraine war, that's crazy. I can't believe this happened. People are cheering for war with China. So that's my take on your analysis. I don't know why you say we take in isolation. If anything, we actually have the bigger picture. Can you explain what Hamas is exactly? Yeah, they're the Palestinian resistance organization. They are hated by the progressive set Palestine people because they don't believe in stupid shit-lib logic that does nothing for their people. They will advance the rights of the Palestinian people, but if you encroach on them, if you commit crimes against their community, they will fight back. And that's why Israel's still struggling. And that deterrence saved God knows how many Palestinian lives. Because can you imagine if Palestine had no Hamas? Can you imagine if Palestine was filled with Bernie Sanders? Palestine would have been gone, fam. That shit would have been gone. So
sort of look at in the same vein of Black Panthers, how they were established to create self-defense. And look how they were labeled. They were labeled as terrorists, as crooks, as it's the same sort of. That's what your oppressor is going to label you if you try to fight back against their oppression.
Yep. So I appreciate you guys tuning in for a stream. CJ gonna have a great show for you guys. I love doing these handoff shows when we get the chance to do those. Nick and CJ's planned for Monday and Fridays. There was an extra credit special live stream to cover this special event. I got a lot of great content coming up. It was a great week in general. We had Jimmy on yesterday. I had Aaron Good on. JB had Richard Metters. Savvy had Dr. Joe Stein, Dr. West. Like, this was a fantastic week for RBN. So I hope you guys continue to subscribe and follow our content. So I'll pass to you, CJ. Have a great show.
Yeah, I'll read some more of these super chats, maybe play a video or two, and then get out of here. But I do want to make sure we cover all of your guys' super chats because you spend your hard-earned money to and you want to get your idea or perspective out, and we want to make sure we respect that. I'm just making sure I don't have any sort of updates on anything that I need to report on for any of the stories that we have here. So let me just do that first. I'm running a quick little check here and see if any comments. So shout out to Q right there. He posted that to Cornell West. He's always he's about to get ratioed by that. I guess I can go a couple over my tweets here. I'm going to hit up a couple of my tweets about this because it's important. I think they talk about something, bring up an important point. So this first one here, if you are using the word unprovoked to describe Palestinian resistance, you should apply to NATO. They are hiring propagandists as we speak. Like that one. And then there's this one who is the Cornell West effect. The ratio is a lot worse now. And I was just pointing out the comments. This is where it was hours ago. Now it's way worse than that. I think the comments are now in the 700 or 800s, and this is another 100 or more. I read that one already. Is there any other one to read? Wow, Cornel West tweet, both sides in the Palestinian issues, proves what I said in this tweet just yesterday. And this is crazy because I had just tweeted this out yesterday. It says Cornell West has had the same issue for decades. Here, Sister Soldier is the radical pushing for real change, while Cornel West argues for status quo and getting what we can get. Just like most people in the professional managerial class, not really interested in getting into the trenches to fight. And then I'll play it and you can see what I mean. I'm not going to play all of it, but I'll play up until the point that Sister Soldier makes one of her points, her biggest points, and then I'll stop the video.
All right. Okay. Now, to paraphrase Senator Bradley of New Jersey, the state from which your piece was.
Senator Bradley gets much right when he talks.
He does, and he, among other things, and he's not claiming to be particularly original with the observation, we can't get there unless we go together. I have a terrible feeling that behind me are some people who do not agree.
Excuse me. Senator Bradley of the all-white United States Senate said we can't get there unless we all go there together. Sorry, none of us are where he is. That's number one. Number two, you're making a moral appeal to a country that doesn't have a moral conscience. The question becomes that when white people feel serious and angry and upset about abortion, they come out in the thousands up to the millions to say, this is what we believe about abortion. Where is the white outcry against white racism that murders African people all around this entire globe? It doesn't exist. So who are these white good people? I want to meet them. I want to see them. I feel it's not enough.
But that might be all we can get.
And guess what? I don't work with all I can get. What I work with is what I have. Listen, you have to have some confidence in the power of African people amongst ourselves to establish a foundation. We haven't. We have utter chaos in our cities, and you've got to see that. You can have a program. I'm not saying we've built a lot of institutions, and those institutions have not been effective. The majority of millions of African youth in this country are dying mentally, dying spiritually, dying emotionally, dying academically. And you may have a program, Mr. Brown may have a program, but what we got to talk about is an American government that tracks millions of African people who don't go to your program, don't go to Brown's program, millions of African people, not only here, but all around the world. And if we are not honest enough to say who are our friends, who are our enemies, to know what a friend is, to know what an enemy is, we will constantly be trying to get into people's parties, to shake our butts with them, to get them to like us. And that's not the question. The question is, what can we build amongst ourselves to secure ourselves from our enemies so that we will be able to survive into the future?
Then that's a question that Palestinians are asking themselves right now. And just like in the video, Cornel West is, come on, let's take what we can take. Just like in this video, Cornel West is advocating for the same thing with Palestinians today. So it's pretty disheartening. But let's continue with the super chats. Okay, I think Nick. Now I'm coming in here, so if I skip one and Nick didn't, or I didn't pick up at the right spot, our apologies. But you know, with this handoff show, I guess I could have been a little more. Wow, that's all the way at the top. All right, so I'm gonna start at the bottom and sort of work my way. Oh, actually, he read this. Oh, so I think maybe this is it. I think this is it. Edward Kim. Western arms, which have been sent to Ukraine, have been sold on the black market to Hamas, which are using them against the IDF. Can't make this up. Wow, that's good. That's something to know. But thank you, Edward, for that super chat. Here's another one. Netanyahu gives free circumcisions with his with his mouth. That's a good one. So thank you, Jim, for that super chat. Here is Everton. We got two back to back from Everton. If I was planning a global war against capitalism, is there a period? I don't see a period there. Turkey conflict, Philippine conflict, India conflict will force to pick a side, Pakistan also, and Indonesia, de-dollarization. This is not about nations or countries. This is a fight between communism and capitalism and the future of the human race. Communists are trying to keep the species alive. And oh, I didn't put that one up there. This one. I'm reading this one now. Communists are trying to keep the species alive. Capitalism will destroy us. Because you had two back-to-back, Everton, thank you. Forgot to click the second one. Let's go to the next one. Biden stands in support of Netanyahu giving free circumcisions with his mouth and said he will give his own unwavering support if he could, or unwavering support if he can too. Thank you, Jim. Another tweet. This one here from Gaza West. Love your support for, I feel like you read that one already. Love your support for Palestinian, Nick. You are a true supporter of truth and freedom for all. Thank you for that super chat. Here's another one. Cornell showing dimensions of Zionism. Yes, there are levels to it. Here's a new member. Welcome, brand new member, Kid Ulysses. It sounds like a rap name, Kid Ulysses. But welcome, brand new member. Here is Jeffrey Long. Thanks, JAW, for you guys. Respect RBN. That JAW stands for an organization that I'm probably not familiar with. But Punky Pinko West is an educated grown man. He was not tricked by Dow. They are teammates. He and Nina Turner should do dance videos. They are performers. Oh, did I somehow jump down here? Oh, maybe skipped a lot. Oh, no, I guess that was it. Oh, I didn't realize I was so close to the end as I thought. So, okay, so that was it. Let me shout this out just in case. Member, Cowboy Kitty member for 5 months. Bring up Dr. West tweet on Palestinian, please. I believe, yeah, we covered that. Oh, this was sent earlier. So, yeah, we did eventually bring those up. So, some of these tweets, some of these super chats may be older. Please show clips of Palestinian Solidarity World Cup. Okay, so yeah, he read these other ones here. Thanks for covering this today. All right, so thank you so much. There's so many super chats today. Let me make sure I didn't get a new one just a second ago, which I have. Okay, got a couple of new ones that just came in. Here goes one. If you're pro-Ukraine, shouldn't you be pro-Palestinian? That is true. You know what? I was thinking the same thing earlier when Nick was reading Bernie Sanders' tweet, because it's bizarre that they have one stance when it comes to one country or one conflict, and then another stance when it comes to the other. Because in this, with the point of this super chat, if you're thinking about Ukraine and Palestinian, the ruling class establishment NATO narrative is this is a sovereign country. Russia's over here invading. We need to support the people who are being attacked by outsiders. Now we move over several hundred miles over to Palestine, which the ruling class calls Israel, but Palestine, who has the same situation. You have these invaders who are on their land, but the United States is supporting the invaders in this situation. So just bizarre. Let's read this next one here. Thank you for that super chat. That was James Pace, the previous super chat. This one, John Freese, I believe that's how you say it. Western imperialism is historically based on who controls the trade between the Indian Ocean. I'm sorry, let me say that again. I didn't read the first word right, the second word. Western imperialism is historically based on who controls the trade between the Indian Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea, the control of Egypt and Israel by England and the U.S. That is, I would say that's an accurate assessment. But that is a long conversation we had. But thank you for the soup to have about that. But there is some great content on it. What is that guy's name? He goes on. Damn, I can't think of his name. But he's written several books about hegemony, and he talks about what you're speaking of in that last super chat, which is typically people who control, considered the superpower of the superpowers, controls a particular region of the world. And that's what you were referring to. It has a particular name. I'm trying to think of that area. I can't think of it right now. But that's all of the super chats. Let's do a quick check of any breaking news before we get out of here. Hit that like button on your way out, if you will. But let's do a quick. Actually, I forgot. I'm live. I can't go to my messages right now. I was about to hit my message if it was something important, but let's get here. There's nobody posting anything. So then let's go to my feed and see what is hot right now. What are people talking about? Maybe I should start calling this what's hot on Twitter. That's Peter Dow chiming in about unprovoked. The problem is, sir, you have a candidate that's Zionist adjacent, Peter. And here's Ajamu chiming in on the Bernie Sanders tweet, of course, with the right assessments. Let's read it. You see where these phony progressives condemning Palestinian resistance, talking about both sides while fully supporting U.S. global criminality, smash the duopoly and all forces pretending to be oppositional while aligning with enemies of humanity. Sanders is a fraud. I have to save that one for my segment on Sanders. The post-duopoly show will probably be covering that. And then here is JB. What is that? It's a little picture he has there on Black Twitter. Kim is someone who once was very sympathetic to both sides. Then she went to Israel, Palestine, and personally saw the horror of Palestinians were dealing with daily at the hands of Israel. Y'all should listen. So to the point of Kim, maybe I should do a segment on if she's made that transition. And I'll do a segment on that. So let me create that. Kim Iverson. Cover that. This is how I do segments. I'll see a tweet. I'm like, that's an interesting topic. And that's how it begins. Let's read what she says, though, right here. It says the war raging in Israel was 100% provoked and a long time brewing. Like the current Russia-Ukraine conflict. Actually, I got to blow this up all the way here. Let's read her comment right here. This is Kim Iverson. And we're just shooting the shit at this point, everybody. Shoot the shit Saturdays. The war raging in Israel was 100% provoked and a long time brewing. Like the current Russia-Ukraine conflict, many have been warning of this for a very long time. Israel has been subjugating and torturing an entire group of people for decades. How long did anyone think that they could go before rising up to defend themselves? War is horrendous. I am horrified by all the who die on both sides of any war. Israel needs to get serious about negotiating a genuine good faith peace agreement with Palestine, or this will happen again. So that is Kim Iverson. All right, so let's continue. Let's see if there's any other. Here's another one from Ajamu. And you got confused liberals talking about both sides. Israel is now flattening entire high-rise residential buildings in central Gaza that has zero security value. These are called power targets. Bombing them is aimed purely at terrorizing, intimidating, and collectively punching the Gazan population. So let me play the video here that shows that. And Cornell West said both sides. These people, man, the people we're teamed up with. And here's Fiorella talking about RFK. No difference from a neocon. I'm glad he let us know his foreign policy would be just as interventionist as Biden or Trump on Israel, perhaps even more, which could lead us into another long conflict in the Middle East. So Fiorella being based. Okay, here is Los Angeles. They're protesting in favor of Israel right here. This is in LA. Okay, this is just LA with this protest or march. I wouldn't call it protest because this is in solidarity. It's not a protest, it's a solidarity. That's fine. So that's LA. Let's see what else is going on. Wow, my feed right now is pretty base. Here goes another one, Colin. For the black people who need some help to understand the Israel-Palestinian occupation, let me explain it this way. If your ancestors had the opportunity to strike back against their oppressor, who would you side with? Let's go ahead and retweet that there. Some of y'all steady cheering on the rebels in Star Wars, but when real life rebels and Palestinians fight back against an apartheid genocidal occupying force, y'all side with the empire. So let's do that one there. Here's PSL. Free Palestine, free all Palestinian political prisoners, end all U.S. aid to Israeli apartheid regime. It's a full statement they have made here. But I'll read just this first part. Resistance to apartheid and fascist type oppression is not a crime. It is the inevitable outcome from all people who demand self-determination rather than living with the boot heel of the oppressor on their neck. And this is their full statement that I'm going to retweet here. Let me zoom out just a little bit. Gaza resistance launches 150,000 missiles towards Tel Aviv in response to Israeli warplanes bombing residential neighborhoods. So I'll let this video replay. This is from the Cradle here. The Cradle. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Just a lot of message. I mean, this is all that everybody's talking about right now. Let's go to Kim Iverson. She's having an exchange with RFK. Let's see what that exchange is. Wow. But RFK is not trying to win, just like Cornel West. Okay, so let me read what she's, and then you saw this already, but you can see the exchange. And there goes my Kennedy vote out the window. Israel will need to rage a substantial military campaign. America must stand by our allies through this operation. These are words of a warmonger. I gotta save this because I gotta cover this here. Kim Iverson is leaving. This is one of his biggest supporters, especially in independent media by far. And she tweets more right here. Yeah. Maybe I'll cover this tomorrow. You would think, man, I'm having a weekend off, and then just news drop like this. And let me read what she says here. This is Kim. I mean, it doesn't sound like she's happy with this, but she's trying to be intellectually consistent, and which I do appreciate from anybody, to be intellectually consistent. Here's RFK losing votes as he advocates for Israel to carpet bomb Gaza and continue to create the very situation that provoked the current events. If you lock people into a small area, deny them basics like water and electricity, and bomb them. I'm sorry. Let me open up her tweet to get the full context here. If you lock people into a small area, deny them basics like water and electricity, and bomb them any chance you can excuse, they are bound, in bold, to retaliate and defend themselves. I am horrified by what is happening on any battlefield. War is ugly. People die. We need to advocate for peaceful resolutions to both the Ukraine-Russia conflict and the Israel-Palestinian conflict. Because what she's doing here, which I like, she's including the Israel conflict here to point out to RFK, you got Israel-Russia right. It's the same dynamic with Palestine and Israel that you're getting wrong. Same dynamic, sir. So this is great. What she does, and that's Sabby giving her the pound there. Let's see if there's any other reactions we want to check on here. Here's Kit from the Gray Zone. Yet you cheer attacks on Russian civilians. They're just pointing out other people. Hypocrisy here. Danny. Notice how the warmongers in the West hide behind Hitler. Putin is Hitler. Xi Jinping is Hitler. Assad is Hitler. Now Hamas is Hitler? Yeah. Wow. All right. I think I might end it there. It's a lot going on right now, but most of it happening in my feed is, hold on a second here. Somebody may have dug up some good information. This is Joe Biden. Let's listen to Joe Biden several decades ago on this.
We look at the Middle East. I think it's about time we stop, those of us who support, as most of us do, Israel in this body, for apologizing for our support for Israel. There's no apology to be made. None. It is the best $3 billion investment we make. Were there not an Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel to protect her interest in the region. The United States would have to go out and invent an Israel. We look at the Middle East.
We had to invent an Israel.
I think it's about time.
We would have to invent an Israel. We are being led by a bunch of ghoulish, murderous monsters here. Just amazing. Let me see here. Yeah, this is Nick. This is a great this clip right here. I cannot believe this is actually him saying this here. This is insane. Let's loop it again here. Can't believe he's saying this here.
We look at the Middle East.
They would invent.
I think it's about time we stop, those of us who support, as most of us do, Israel in this body, for apologizing for our support for Israel. There's no apology to be made. None. It is the best $3 billion investment we make. Were there not an Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel to protect her interest in the region.
What does that mean? If there was not an Israel, we would have to invent one. Yeah, this is our president. Yeah. All right. I'm almost afraid to see what else I'm gonna find in my feed. That was fire though. So let me save that though. Let me save that somewhere. I don't know where. I guess Zionist talking points. I guess I can do that. Yeah, you lying, Charlie Kirk. So Charlie Kirk says, warning, horrifying video of Hamas militia going door to door, killing Israeli citizens. That's actually not true. And Sabby points that out. If you zoom in and look at the uniforms, you will see these are Israeli soldiers, people showing their ass today. So this is horrifying when you're saying this is Hamas. But when you find out this is not Hamas, is it going to be just as horrifying, Charlie Kirk? Yes. And let me retweet this here. Purposely misleading people, I guess. I don't know if that's what he's trying to do, but let's retweet that. Let's see anything else here I can cover. Ajamu Baraka just been on kind of fire today. Here's another one. And Negroes talking both sides in Palestine while assuring Massa they stand with him in support of right-wing racist Ukrainian puppet government. Man, he has been on fire today. On fire. Hey, in case anyone forgot, RFK is a bloodthirsty Zionist. All right, so I think we can get out of here. I don't think there's any major outside of this news that I should be reporting on. So I'm gonna get out of here. But let's see what corporate media is saying about this. Let me go to YouTube. I do want to see what corporate media, if they're saying anything at all about. I'm not at anything at all. I'm curious to their framing because they are saying something about it. Curious to their framing. Where am I here? So let's go to. I guess I can go to CNN, and then I'll try MSNBC. Let's go to CNN first. And they are talking about Israel. Let's see the nonsense that they're talking about here. All right. All right, so I do have it coming up. Let me share that now. Hang on a second.
Hospitalized. Secretary Austin met with top U.S. military officials just a little while ago, including the commander of the U.S. military's Central Command. Let's get more on what's going on right now. Retired Colonel Cedric.
Here is the CIA talking
He's a
points
US
about
Air
what's
Force colonel.
happening.
He's a CNN
So
military
let's
analyst,
listen.
and CNN Global Affairs analyst Kimberly Dozier is with us as well. Colonel Layton, what do you think the U.S. is doing right now to help Israel? Because from the president on down, there have been very strong statements of support for Israel in this war with Hamas.
War with Hamas.
Well, in concrete terms, Wolf, we will speculate a little bit here, but the basic things that we end up doing are logistical support if the Israelis need it. Sometimes there'll be intelligence sharing that will take place, and anything that the Israelis will need in terms of even diplomatic efforts that might be ongoing, say with the Egyptians or some of the Gulf states. So a lot of these issues will take place ready to perhaps help with the logistics aspects of this, and they will be moving things in perhaps to areas near Israel in case the Israelis need to have their stockpiles replenished.
Kimberly, an Israeli IDF military spokesperson told me a little while ago that fighting is ongoing right now, still ongoing in more than 20 different locations. Special forces have been mobilized as Israeli civilians are being held hostage as well. That's what he says. Just how complicated is this response from the Israeli military?
Complicated, and it could potentially stretch out for days, if not weeks. Once you have a hostage situation where militants are barricaded with Israeli citizens, civilians, not just some of the troops that have reported.
Like, right, like it's such a crucial thing to understand about the United States or the United States framing. You cannot understand or view United States media and their reporting on Israel without understanding the history of the United States being in the very place of being the invaders to a land. So fellow invaders of a occupied land has a perspective on other invaders of a different occupied land. You get what I'm saying? Like that has to be always forefront when we're seeing even this nonsense that we're seeing here and how they're describing it, because the words they're using to describe the people who are resisting is the same words they would use here in the United States to describe people resisting slavery. You resisting slavery, you are the terrorist. You're resisting slavery, you are the violent thug. That's why it's so easy for this sort of framing, and it's so easy for Americans to buy into this nonsense. This is no war against Hamas. You're talking about a place that has billions of dollars versus Hamas who does not. That'll be like, this is a war. This is a war between slaves and the rest of the United States that sees slavery as free, as illegal. It's absurd. It's absurd. So that's the framing of all of this. Even though we got to listen to it, because we got to listen to it to study these morons. But this is all cope. This is all from the perspective of a fellow colonizer.
Reportedly been taken. It becomes very difficult for the Israeli Defense Forces. They've got to move slowly and precisely. They're already facing a massive blowback of anger from the Israeli people for missing this and for not responding quickly enough to the attacks in the south. That's what I was hearing from some former Israeli and US officials, that it's not just bad that they've bad leveling, almost horrific that they missed signs of this potential complex attack, but that when it started happening, they didn't respond fast enough to catch the militants faster and to keep them from
They're
infiltrating.
militants. A slave trying to resist slavery, that person was labeled a militant. Again, oppressors, colonizers describing another colonizing event talks like this. And they don't see anything wrong. They're going to go home and they think they're great people. They may know they're awful propagandists, but the girl in the blue, I know Wolf and the guy on the left, those are propagandists, but I don't know her enough to say that. So she might believe this nonsense. But it's because she believed that the fairy tales of the United States Empire and their genocidal project against the natives of this land and also enslaved Africans. So that is so important in understanding the words they're using, what are they choosing to report on, how they're reporting it. Just put white sheets on all three of these people. That'll give you a better understanding. And then you'll oh, these are white races that are describing this. Oh, this is why they're using this language. But that'll be, just imagine them with white sheets on as they're reporting. That'll help you sort of get the framing that or why they're picking this framing.
Some of these communities. I think that's why you've seen the Israeli Prime Minister call up more reservists, because they're going to have to do something pretty dramatic to respond to this and to find all the conspirators and how this was plotted and carried out. And that likely means a ground incursion into Gaza. That means bringing a lot of active duty forces.
That means they're about to go in and kill a bunch of people. You see how they're describing it? So this slave revolt, in order to catch the leader of it, we're going to have to go in to the slave quarters. So that means we need to have a lot of people, a lot of backup to go into the slave quarters to actually do this. This framing is so off, but it's important that we study
attack
this.
there, which means they'll need reservist troops to backfill them and keep the rest of the country secure.
Keep the rest of the country
Colonel Layton, Israel
keep the rest of the plantation secure while we go into the slave quarters.
Is preparing for a ground incursion into Gaza, and that, quote, all options are on the table. So give us
all options are on the table. Do you know what that means? They about to go in here and slaughter indiscriminately kids, children, newborns, pregnant women, indiscriminately slaughter people. And our media frames it this way as if some sort of just self-defense.
A sense what that looks like.
So the most likely scenario, Wolf, just like Kimberly mentioned, is a ground incursion into Gaza. That's going to be a really, really tough thing for the Israelis to do. They have done it before, but this is urban warfare, and Gaza is the most crowded place, I think, now on the face of the earth in terms of density of population per square mile. And given that fact, there are a lot of different things that they'll have to consider. They want to go after the military targets, in essence, the Hamas targets, but there are going to be situations where there will probably be collateral damage, in other words, civilian casualties, and that's
preparing you for the atrocities coming, but they want to make it seem like they're framing it as if this is just an unintended consequence. No, that is the point of this. Our media is so complicit with so much atrocities and so much death. They're so complicit with the framing, and diluting it for the American public digestion. Just awful. I'm trying to let this go. I got to keep pausing to give them, because this is
that's going to make it really
awful
tough
to
on
listen
the
through.
Israelis,
These people
not
are
only
just
from a
liars.
military standpoint, but also from a public relations standpoint. The other thing, of course, that they're going to do is they're going to use air power to go after these areas. There's already been some of that that we've seen around Gaza, but I think the bombing attacks are going to be more intense, and they're also going to try to cut off any more Hamas.
The bombing attacks are going to be intense. So they're being upfront to saying this shit's about to get crazy, but they're using soft, lily white language to soften what they're describing. But he's describing carnage is coming. That is what he's describing right here. Just freaking despicable how our media apparatus participates in this terrible sort of colonial settlism, colonial settlers sort of propaganda. Let's see what they're saying on MSNBC. Man, it's all over Israel. It's all over MSNBC. It's the supposed left channel. The supposed left.
President Biden just addressing the nation in the wake of Hamas attacks on Israel. I want to bring back NBC News correspondent Ali Rafa, also with us, New York Times Chief White House correspondent Peter Baker. Ali, the president saying that the U.S. has Israel's back, saying that Israel has a right to defend itself, full stop. But also, Ali, the president confirming that entire families are among those taken hostage in Gaza.
Yeah, Lindsay, a very powerful message in a very short span of time. And these remarks from President Biden in the White House just a minute ago. And as you mentioned, he talked about the diplomatic efforts, the communication by his administration, as well as himself personally since this crisis started.
We're standing with Ukraine on one side, and then we're standing with the supposed oppressed people in Ukraine, and standing with an oppressor in Palestine. That's the United States.
But he also talked about the human aspect of that. These images that Americans have been seeing, people around the world have been seeing for hours now, as you're seeing on our screen.
For hours?
These images of just the devastation caused by this attack in Israel.
Wow. When it happens to Palestinians, you motherfuckers don't say nothing. Palestinians have been their land has been being bulldozed, bombed. Y'all don't come out here and say none of this shit. You don't say nothing about Hamas has the right to defend themselves. You don't say that Gaza has the right to defend themselves. You don't say any of that shit. What's happening?
By Hamas militants. And he reiterated, as we talked about, what he said earlier in that statement after he had this call with Prime Minister Netanyahu, that this support for Israel will continue. He called it unwavering, rock solid. He said, quote, the world is watching. He said he spoke with also the King of Jordan, members of Congress. He's still coordinating with his administration officials on next steps here. And he also vowed to continue having personal communication, one-on-one communication with the Prime Minister as this continues. And Lindsay, it can't be underscored enough how important and significant this alliance is between the United States and Israel. It's one of our key alliances. It's our strongest alliance in the Middle East. And it also is extremely important as far as the stability in the Middle East. So you heard the president commit to continue helping Israel for as long as it needs, in any way it needs, actions. But we're still waiting to hear what exactly those actions will entail. What could the U.S. continue to do stepwise, specifically to continue helping Israel? So those are definitely things that we're going to continue to watch and see as this situation continues to be very fluid, as well as the reaction to it from members of this administration and White House officials all around, Lindsay.
Let's see what else. So maybe I should just go round it out and go to Fox News. So we did CNN. We did. So by far, MSNBC has the most clips. By far, so far. Let's go Fox News here. See what they got here. The entire world has to support Israel. So this is Fox News.
Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg on what he thinks happens now. He joins us on the phone. General, what do you think?
Hamas has committed a war crime by abducting Israelis into Gaza. You believe that? Again, when we're listening to these people, understand colonizers are describing it this way. The American colonial project is describing the Israeli colonial project. So the words they're using is because it reflects on them. So when you say, you know, you're defending yourself with this, you are defending yourself against a slave attack if you are the United States. So that's the framing. Let's listen.
Yeah, hi, Neil. Thanks for having me. Look, first, to be very clear, this was an unprovoked attack on Shabbat, which is the Jewish holy day, like our Sunday. In Israel,
unprovoked attack. No one has to say that if it's really unprovoked. You don't go, you know, this is an unprovoked fight that I'm having. That's an unprovoked punch you gave me there. You don't say that unless you're trying to mask that it's not unprovoked. That's the only reason you keep using this, is that if you know it's not unprovoked, that's why you have to insert a descriptive word, because it's completely unnecessary to the telling of the story.
Israel has every right and should respond with a significant military response. You know, make no mistake, Neil, this was a coordinated attack, well supported by the state of Iran. You can see the use of drones, the drone footage you see even attacking their armed vehicles. And I think what they really need right now, the Israelis, because they can handle things militarily. You never really asked, what General Keane said earlier, you know, direct intervention, but they need a lot of moral support right now. This is where the world needs to stand up and say
moral
to
support.
the Israelis, look, we're behind
moral
you.
Support.
Whatever the actions that
this
you take.
is slave owners asking other slave owners, we need your moral support against the terrorists, enslaved Africans who are coming after us with violence. Slave owners, colonial settlers are talking about morality, people. Clown shit. This is clown shit right here.
You know, we're going to be with you. It was an unprovoked attack on civilians.
Why do you keep saying that?
France has already come out. Orban of Hungary's already come out. Zelensky's already come out.
Before 1846, could there be a such thing as an unprovoked attack by the indigenous people to this land on the white settlers? Is that a possibility? Is it the very fact that the white settler here makes it provoked? The very fact that Israel is here is the provocation. If I just made up a word, is the there's a right way to say it. Provocation. There we go. Is the provocation.
You know, our president used to go out and say, okay, we're with you, Israel. We understand it's a difficult situation, but you need to respond. The concern I've got is this is not going to be a near-term thing, meaning it's not going to be a pinprick. This is going to evolve to a much larger, in all politics, the potential of this is a larger war. And this is where Netanyahu is going to have to make some hard decisions. And the hard decisions are, what do you do going forward? Understand that Hezbollah to the north, coming out of Lebanon, will probably join in the attack. There'll be nations that condemn them. But this is maybe when you almost have to super escalate. And what I mean by that,
Netanyahu needs to super escalate. The media is telling you what's coming. Our war propagandized media knows exactly how a settler colonial project will respond to any upheaval from the oppressor, from the oppressees. They know this shit is about to get violent and it's going to get ugly. Videos of ugly sort of shit's going to be coming out. So they're setting the groundwork for that shit already. Our media, disgusting media the United States has.
That deal is this is one of those saying, okay, we're going to have to bring this to a conclusion from a military state, and if that means going after their senior leadership, you do it. Unfortunately, this goes at the same time they're trying to normalize relations with Saudi Arabia. They've started to do that. They've done that working through the Abraham Accords, and this just complicates everything. But this was done not only on a holy day, but also on the 50th anniversary of Yom Kippur War. So make no mistake, this was a deliberate attack that was done with provocation and deliberate thought behind it. So this is one of those. The Israelis are going to have to make some hard call, but I think it's going to extend itself.
It ain't no hard,
and it's going to probably get a lot larger before it gets smaller.
You know, General,
they're
you
telling
mentioned
you
the 50th
this shit's about to get
anniversary
crazy
because obviously those who wish others ill seize on important dates. It's also the anniversary of the assassination of Anwar Sadat, and I'm thinking more to the point about of those who even consider brokering peace or even talking to Israel. Then in those instances, and of course now, doesn't go well. Now, very different situation behind the attack on the part of Syria and Egypt on Israel back 50 years ago. But it did lead to a chain of events that united the Arab world, what there was of that world at the time, to target the United States for its support of and for.
Yeah, like, will this spur the Arab world support? Because Iran has already come out in support for Palestine. Will this spur the Arab world to come together against Israel? How it's going to affect the normalization process that they started with Saudi Arabia? I think that's going to be put on hold or at least scrapped. But let's see. Let's listen to a little more of this nonsense from the ruling class.
For Israel.
Colonial settler project of the United States.
Embargoing oil on the United States. And we can all remember the gas lines, or those of a certain age. I certainly can, General. I know it's different today, but I put that in some perspective here. What do you think?
Yeah, Neil, I understand. But, that was primarily like a military operation. What you're seeing on television today that Trey's covering so well, They're in Israel. This is an unprovoked attack on civilians. The pictures that are coming across are horrific.
Unprovoked attack on civilians.
This should be a lot different from a military perspective. It's force on force with military, but they're terrorizing civilians, and that to me crosses a line. I don't care if it's Syria using.
That crosses a line. But coming into somebody's house saying, get the fuck out of here, that doesn't cross a line for you. Again, the only way you can have that perspective if you yourself has a history of colonial settling, the United States in particular. Let's go and see if there's any other news here. Didn't expect it to be so much coverage here. Let's go to forget what the other. I wanted to type in Israel. That's what I wanted to do. So Israel. Let's see what other news organizations, ABC News, NBC News, if it's any other sort of Let's go last hour so we can get the most updated information here. I played that Biden clip. It looks like I do have the most up-to-date information. Fox News, Fox News, Fox News. I'm looking for a better source here. Looking for a better source. That's Israel. I don't know if we're gonna get anything else. That might be all the latest information we got. Let's see. Is this Trump reacting? Let's see if this is Trump reacting.
I'm the only candidate in the race who, according to the polls now, can beat Biden. I mean, it's hard to believe. Don't forget, the Democrats start with an advantage. I won't tell you what the advantage is, but different people automatically vote. Different people vote, and they sort of are locked into that vote no matter how bad a guy is. If a man's grossly incompetent, he can't speak, he can't put two sentences together. He can't find his way off a stage. Let's see, there's a... I got there. I could jump off this one. I could actually do it. He couldn't. Or I could just head back the way you came, right? That's pretty amazing. I watched the other day. He had two entrances, two exits, and he couldn't figure out how the hell do I get out of here. And he just made a statement on Israel. It lasted for less than 2 minutes.
So he comments on Joe Biden making a statement about Israel, and then I'm going to get out of here, guys, or guys and gals and humans. So let's listen to what he says.
Which is better than usual when you think of it. And naturally, he didn't take any questions. He doesn't take. I take questions from everybody. I do a press conference in the Oval Office. I would have some hostile people.
So that's all. That's the only comment. They titled it as if he talks about it, but he literally speaks what, 4 words on it, not 2 words, 4 words on it, and then skates off. So we are going to call it here. I don't think I should have to do another go round about what's breaking, so I won't. What I will do, though, is bring up our website here. Make sure you go and check out our website. If you're disappointed in Cornell West, you don't have anybody you can vote for because Claudia de la Cruz is not in your city, don't fret. You don't have to have somebody to vote for all the time. Just do work in your community. You can always support RBN. Here's our website. It's scrolling there at the bottom. You can check out. I need to sit upright more. This is what I look like sitting upright. I always lean forward here. People think I have no neck, but I do. So along across here at the top, you see the tabs: RBN About, RBN Chapters, RBN Library. So you can check out the library, which is one of the chapters. This is the RBN Detroit chapter. They're making the library, and you see the renovations they're doing there. On the RBN chapter page, you can see our chapters, some of the things we do and our chapters, and then the each city chapter there. If you click on the Boston chapter and you're in Boston, you can submit a mutual aid request here. So if you need help cutting lawn, if you need help with something, you can submit that, and Sabby will get that. But what I wanted to show you on the far right-hand side, if you click merchandise, it'll take you to our merchandise page. And we recently, I think we're 2 weeks in, maybe 3 weeks in selling 3 weeks in selling merchandise. So let's bring it up here. And here we go. If you're interested, check it out. Where was I going to go? Take that one out. So I'm just going to show down and show you a couple of the items. There's 11 designs. You can get the 11 designs on mugs or tote bags, and different colored tote bags there is. Or you can get it on shirts, on tanks, like down here. Or you can get it on long sleeve shirts. I'll bring this one up. I always want to show an example. You can get different colors. So make sure you check it out. I'm probably going to get that one. And if you hover over the logo or the graphic, you can get an up close look at what the graphic will look like on the shirt. So a lot of people have already made a purchase with us. So if you haven't, check it out. Some people have taken pictures. So thank you for those that have purchased. And I think that is going to do it for me. This has been what we call a handoff stream where Nick kind of starts it. There's a little bit of overlapping content. And then I do a couple of segments after. Make sure you donate to this fundraiser. We are raising funds, always raising funds to play our employee. This is fundraiser for our employee. There's the GoFundMe. If you are able to donate, please do. Where's another one at? She does graphics, great graphics like this. Graphics like the one yesterday for yesterday's show. And then, of course, graphics like for today. But we're going to be getting out of here. I want to thank everybody for watching. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Thank you.